Everyone. We are on a little bit earlier than usual, but that's for a reason. And I'm actually glad that I was able to get on and get live as early as I am. So welcome when you come into the room. Make sure that you say hello so that I can greet you back. That would be amazing. Let's go on and get things started. Good morning, David. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? Y'all good? Good morning, Audra. Good to see you. Good morning, Tara. What's up, Tawana? Hey, Scotty, ABC, Farah, how are you? So, folks, if you are joining me on Substack, I'm not going to be able to see your comments. It's really weird when I go through Restream. I can't see your comments, but when I go through Substack, I can't share my screen. So it's like, it's horrible one way or the other. What's up, Sunflower Fish? Hey, Sherry, how are you? You've never watched me on YouTube? Well, great. I'm glad you're picking me up over there on the tube of the U, right? Good morning, Angela. What's up, Jennifer? Hey, Cheryl. Hello, Conchita. What's up, Chris? Good morning. Good morning, Yaya. So for folks that are wondering, I am on the Tube of You, the Book of Faces, the Stack of Sub, and of course, I am on TikTok. So you will find me on all of those places this morning. Good morning, Marky. What's up, Charlotta? Hope everybody's doing okay. What's up, Jen the Vet? Good to see you. What's up, Skywriter Jeff? Feel like I haven't seen your ass in a minute. What's up, Sin? How are you? Morning, Tam Bam. Good morning, Sherry. What's up, Tink Tink? What's up, Landing for Humanity? I am, hello, Mary. What's up, Tim Ratliff over on the Book of Faces? I see you. Good morning, everybody. I need to do an update and put a little notice up here real quick. Stickers. I will do this. And here's what it's going to say. Give me a second, folks. All right. So that should be pretty. Can I put it right there? I'm trying to figure out like where to put this little thing. Okay, it's going to be right there. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Farah. I appreciate it. What's up, Abrius? Good morning, Constance. Your first time watching me on YouTube. Constance, why not? That's just the crazy. I don't understand. I don't know why you would think that YouTube's terms are any different than TikTok's. I mean, literally, they're all owned by the same people. Yeah, Jen, it is going to be cold. So let me say something because people are freaking out about TikTok's new terms and the stuff that they collect. Number one, you have, good morning, Witch, what's up? So listen, folks, you have the ability to dictate, appreciate that, Main Street. You have the ability to change some of the settings on your phone to determine what is or what isn't collected. If you read the entirety of the privacy policy and all of those things, you can actually request to see what content they've collected, and you can request that they delete it and all of that. But let me just, like, real talk, y'all. I read the terms of agreement, terms of service today. I read the privacy policy today. The reason why I think some of y'all are freaking out is because they put in plain English the shit y'all don't bother to read every time you update your phone. They put in plain English what people have been collecting all this time, and now y'all are freaking the fuck out. But it's just because they said, in summary, here's the shit we're taking. And now y'all are like, oh, hell. And they're like, nah, listen, I mean, we're just going to tell y'all what we've been collecting. Now, what I am doing is I do have, I think, about 6 or 7 data centers. And I do have the websites for those data centers. And I'm going to put it into a document, throw it into the link tree, and you can go in and you can manually remove your information from that. I also need you all to remember that you are one of millions upon millions upon millions of people. And you got to ask yourself why you think you're that important. Like, what is it that you think they want from you? Like, who are you in the grand scheme of things? What, you know what I mean? Why are they worried about you? I'm just, can we just put some things in a, right, you a pebble on a sandy beach. So just saying. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Witch. What's up, Jen? So I just want to put things in perspective for you. You are that important. I know. I mean, I'm just saying, I just, thanks, Sherry. I appreciate that. I just, and it's a real thing. Like I literally had to walk through my PTSD this morning and read it um all the things, you know what I mean? And so I just think it's really important for folks to just take it down a notch. I just don't think that it's helpful to come from, yeah, Minnesota is on strike. No school, no work, no shopping. Correct. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Jay Bird. Hey, Lynn. So I'm just saying, what's up, Jay Nice? I'm just saying, you guys, like, take a deep breath for a second and just put things in perspective. Like real talk. So, good morning, Nikki. So I just wanted to take a, yeah, I know it's very, very cold, you guys. It's very cold in places. There's storm coming through for lots of us. Um, and so I think it's just really important that people remember to stay safe. I went back to the grocery store again today, grabbed some extra things for my niece and my great niece and my daughter and all of those things, you know, and came on in here to get buckled down and get ready to go. I do have a lot of information that I want to cover today, right? Yeah, which I have everything I need, and I went and got my niece a couple of things and all of that. Yeah, negative. I hear the negative 22, negative 34 in Minnesota. This is why I live in the South because I don't like the cold. I was stationed in Alaska for almost 2 years. It's not my jam. I don't like it. So everybody just needs to remember to stay warm, to stay safe, to do all the things. No, don't really know how that would be possible, to be honest, right? When did Roger Stone say that? He said that January 21st, 2021. What's up, Red Hot? Morning, New Romamba. Hey, Gio. So listen, folks. Yeah, Skywriter. I don't blame you. Yeah, you're welcome, Learcy. So I think it's really important that we talk about yesterday, and we talk about Jack Smith's deposition. We talk about what's up, Cheryl? Good to see you. Hey, Dilgrave. Um, and what I would like to do is I would like to have the Jack Smith deposition hearing as if I were the one talking to Jack Smith. I would also like to talk a little bit about what's happening in Minnesota and ICE. Good morning, Kaylin. Um, and um, and and what I'm concerned about from the progressive side of the aisle, because I have concerns. I don't expect. So I expected. I expected to see the GOP performance that we saw yesterday, right? Hey, Amy. They didn't do anything that I didn't expect for them to do, right? I knew where they were going, what they were going up to, what they were going to be up to, and it's like I didn't expect any different. And I truly didn't have an expectation of the Democrats in that hearing. If I had set an expectation, I would have been sorely disappointed. But I didn't have an expectation, and I wasn't disappointed as much as I was frustrated, because they had a prime opportunity to give the American people really essential information, and they just glossed right the fuck over it. And instead, um, well, Peter, why don't I talk about Gavin? Because I don't want to, and it's my live. If you would like to talk about Gavin, then feel free to go to your TikTok and go live. Like, that's the beautiful thing about this app, is that if you want to talk about something and somebody else isn't doing that on their platform, you can go to your own platform and talk about it yourself. It's beautiful. Like, it's so amazing. It gives everyone an access to have their thoughts heard. And you have the ability to do that, Peter. I'm not talking about it because I have other shit planned to talk about. It's not hard. Okay. All right. Now, like I said, it is a wonderful thing, Ali Nicole. So for those of you guys that are everywhere, things that I will say, for you all, I am going to have a River to the Sea panel today at 1 p.m. What does that mean? That means at 1 o'clock, I will be bringing up our friends that are in Palestine, that are in Gaza. And if people, hey, Salam, Astrid, if people desire to be able to help them out with TikTok beans, you will be able to do so at that time. There are also direct support links in my link tree. So no matter what platform you are on, you have the ability to go into my link tree, scroll down to, like, I think it's the second box that's on there, and it says Palestinian direct support links. You can use those to help people out if you want to do that. Okay. So that's going to happen today in 2.5 hours. Okay. Now, right now, we're going to talk about stuff here in the US. What's up, Kat? And what I want to do is I want to kind of go over yesterday, but do it in a way that's actually meaningful to the American people. And so things that I think that it would be beneficial for people to know and understand is that one of the points that they could have driven home and they did not drive home was that Donald Trump 100% knew he lost the 2020 election. Without a doubt, it's unquestionable. He knew that. Not only did he say it, right? But he was being told that repeatedly from the people around him, including the court systems. Okay. So we're going to talk about, like, why that's a thing. Okay. Yeah. So Scotty, they were arguing it, although poorly. There was only one person who really touched on it, and it was the woman from Florida, who I guess was a prosecutor, maybe a judge at some point. She touched on it briefly, and she said, well, one of the requirements of this charge is that he would have knowingly, Jack Smith is actually amazing, Alan. And if you would like to discuss the facts of the case, Jack Smith's deposition, or what happened yesterday in the hearing, feel free to request up, and we can discuss exactly why Jack Smith is still and should be absolutely everybody's hero, 100%. So let me know, Alan, if you're game for that. Keyboard warriors, I just, no, aeronautical. I don't know what you mean, consciousness of guilt. Alaikum salam, Ahmed. Good morning, Brandy. Yeah, the boss. I'm good. I would prefer for him to, no, he's a prosecutor, rescue squad. So I would prefer for him to be the next AG. That's what I would love. I would love to see him as the attorney general. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to whether or not we'll ever do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's the role that I would love to see him in. So, Alan, listen, I'm not going to talk to you in the comments. Be a big boy and join the panel, or you'll eventually be muted. Not because you disagree with me, but because you just want to jipper jap and distract in the comments, and I'm not here for that. So either be a big boy and head up here to the panel so we can have that conversation, or eventually you'll be muted. So the choice is yours. Okay? Perfect. So, things that I think, I don't know, Ahmed. Nobody's talked to me about anything on Sunday. So, so things that are important. Let me just take care of this real quick. Come on, Gary, come to the panel. I would love to see you. Come on, let's talk. I don't know. I have to look and see. I don't even know the date that Sunday is, and we have a major snowstorm here, so I don't know that I'm even going to have internet. Gary, I would love for you to come to the panel, please. Good morning, Phantom. Good to see you. See, this is the thing that really is funny to me is you grown men will type in big letters Trump, MAGA, nah, 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 and then when I say, okay, we'll come to the panel, let's discuss it, then you keep your ass in the comments. It's the craziest thing ever. Like, do you want to speak or do you not? Do you want to have an intelligent conversation or do you not? Which one? No? Okay. That's the thing. That's the reason. What's up, DeBoss? Good morning.
Morning, sis. How you doing?
I am fucking fantastic. How are you?
I don't know if I'm that good, but I'm that good.
I am fucking fantastic.
That's right.
You don't want to be part of my propaganda show? Well, then leave. Did nobody ask your ass to pop in here, Diamond Dave? Here, can I show you how it's done? Let me show you what you can do. Look, Diamond, take your finger, go like this, put it on your phone, and just go shoop, and you'll get right the fuck out. That's all you got to do. It is absolutely wild that you are a grown-ass man on an app saying, I don't want anything to do with your propaganda show, but your ass is in the propaganda show. Your ass is literally commenting in the propaganda show. It sounds to me like you actually do want to be in the propaganda show, because here the fuck you be. Sorry, go ahead, the boss.
No, you're good. And if that's complicated, we do have free escort services that can help you out. Those are free services too, by the way.
Right.
Charge you for that. Yeah. So if you can't
Let me
find
grab
the
my water,
swoosh technique, if you can't find the swoosh technique, just put a blue heart in the chat, and we can escort you out, just for your own safety.
It's wild. I don't want to be part of it. Well, then leave. Shit. Ain't nobody holding your ass hostage in here. Oh, this is not Israel. You can come and go as you please. And yes, I said it. You can get some today if that's what you want to do. Oh, what's up, the boss?
I'm just making sure. I'm just tapping in and make sure you're good. We need to tap the screen share the live. Let's get Dani's likes up to over 50. Helps the algorithm. Gets us out to the FYP page. Bring in more people while we get into this conversation about Mr. Jack Smith.
Yes.
Can I say this real quick and I'm gonna go back on mute?
Yeah.
I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you watched him in the last couple of days in front of the House, the humility that man presents when he was, I mean, from his opening statements, from every question to the time he left, if you believe that man spoke with a lack of integrity, you will never believe anything.
Yeah.
You will never.
He's talking about Jack Smith, Audra. He's talking about Jack.
Listen, you will never believe anything.
Yeah.
You just won't. So, but I definitely want you to get into it. So, but if anybody needs any escort services out of Dani's live, just put a blue heart and a pitchfork in the comments, and we'll get you right on out of here. Don't worry about that. Appreciate you.
So let me just address the fuckery in the comments, okay? Can I do that for a second? So for the people who come in and are like, hey, sir, because you're trying to indicate that because I have short hair, I'm a man, please get your weak bitch ass on somewhere else. If your manhood is intimidated by a woman with short hair and strong energy, that's why the fuck you are where you are right now. Like, real talk. Like, if you think you saying to me, hi, sir, or you look like a man is offensive to me, it just means your bitch ass couldn't handle a woman like me. And that's okay. I'm not for everybody. Just to be clear. Okay? It's okay that you're intimidated, beloved. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here for you to grow. Okay? I'm here for you to grow. Just so you know. Okay? See, if you are triggered by me, by my appearance, right? That is a place for you to lean into, right? For you to go ahead and figure it out for yourself. Okay? That's it. It's not hard. Ugh. It's just funny to me. Okay. Look, here, can I do it for you? Okay. Now, are we better? Y'all good now? You okay? It's funny to me. Hi, sir. Hey, bitch. Is that what you want me to do? Hey, bitch. Hey, weak ass man. Hello, itty bitty. What up, Mindy B? I'm just like, what you want me to say? Whew. Crazy. Anyway, y'all are just funny to me. Funny, funny, funny. You are miserable, Rockefeller. You are. That's the problem. You are. Let me show you how miserable you are. You have 10,000 followers. I'm inviting you to the panel. I bet your ass don't come. What's up, Shambi? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in a while, sir. Good to see you. Hey, Rockefeller. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Is this your first time in my live?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So what made you want to pop into the chat? What made you want to pop in?
Obviously, you're suffering from some form of mental illness to be hating on a man that's working for you.
So share with me. So share with me, Rockefeller, what I said that said I'm hating on Trump.
Well, obviously, you're suffering. You've said many things that shows that you don't like him. And my question
so give me one. Give me
why
one.
would you not like him?
Give me one. I would love for you to share with me what I said that was hating on Trump.
Are you okay? Have you looked at your Have you looked at your background?
I have. I asked you this question. Okay. So try to pay attention to the question. Try to pay attention to the question. Hold on. We're going to do, we have respectful conversations. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what you said. Okay. So what you're not, so I didn't say that. Roger Stone said that.
Your prompt says.
No, Roger Stone said that.
Yeah, but I mean by you.
But Roger Stone said that.
On your
no, sir. No, sir. That's a quote by Roger Stone.
Oh, so you love Donald Trump. Is that right?
So let me be clear. So what you don't get to do.
You're confused.
Well, first, what we're going to do is I'm going to have you stop answering over me.
Yeah, you seem a little scattered.
No, I'm going to make you stop answering over me. So you're either going to be respectful or go. I can have this conversation with you, but I'm going to require you to do it respectfully.
Sure. But
okay. So nope. There's not sure, but it's sure we're going to do it respectfully, and I'm not going to talk over you. That's the way we're going to do it. So here's the problem that I have with what you're saying. Okay. So you came in here and the first thing that you said was intended to be personally insulting. So the first thing you came in and said, "What's your name, sir?" Right? So when you first came into the room, you didn't have any intention on having an actual conversation around the facts of the presidency, the campaign, what I just said. Don't motherfucking interrupt me.
But you have a supercomputer.
But so here's what you can do. Let me just help you. Here's what you can do is bye. You can come back. You can come back to the panel when you learn how to control your impulses. This is not hard, folks. This is not difficult. If you would like to have a real conversation, we can do that. You're just going to be respectful in my space. If you want to be in a space where you just run off at the mouth and talk however you want to talk, like somebody didn't raise you with no damn manners, you're going to do that somewhere else. So if you got some impulse control about you, feel free to come back. Okay? Now, what I will address is his statement about my background. The single greatest mistake in American history, right? That is not a Dani Cook quote. That is a Roger Stone quote. Roger Stone said that in January of 2021. And he also said in that same conversation, that Donald Trump deserved to be impeached, that Jared Kushner needed to be investigated. He also said that a long sentence in prison would give Donald Trump time to think about it. All of that. All of those things happened in January of 2021. Hello, Kathleen. And all of those things he said. Nope. Here's what you got. Here's what you're going to do. So here's what I'm going to do for you. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to mute you until you get your shit together. You're not going to get off my panel and then continue to run your jaws. So Rockefeller, these are the choices. You either practice impulse control and get on the panel and we can have a respectful conversation, or you can just sit here and listen, beloved, and hopefully learn something today. Okay? All right. So it is really important that, so we're discussing the hearing yesterday from Jack Smith, but also in addition to that, a couple of things about it. So number one of the things is understanding the opportunity that, in my opinion, the Democratic Party missed yesterday in sharing and allowing Jack Smith to fully testify before the committee and give the American people information that they don't have, right? In my opinion, the Democratic Party missed an incredible opportunity to do that yesterday, okay? The second part of that are the actual facts around the January 6th events and all of the efforts in 2020 around the election. And the reason why that is so important is because there is a ton of information that the American people do have access to if they knew where to look, right? And so, Mark, this is going to be your one opportunity before you also get muted. So come up to the panel or you get muted. Good morning, Natalie. Good to see you. So things that I'm going to ask everybody while I pull this up. This is where you might want to get out pen and paper. Sure. I got no problem doing that for you. Watch. Muted. I'm here to help, Mark. I'm here to help. If you need help being muted, I got you. He said, mute me. Okay, cool. Done. You're welcome. Okay, so.
Support services.
Yeah, support services. I'm here to help. I got you, boo. I'm here for you. Okay?
You thought that was going to work.
Right. Mute me. Okay. Anything else? Ask and you shall receive. Chris, we can have that conversation too if you would like to join the panel. All right. So things that I want, so the 6 things that I want to give you, right? And I talked about them briefly yesterday, but I'm going to give them back to you right now. So in the in the superseding indictment, in the January 6th case, okay, there were 6 co-conspirators. How many of you all know the names of these 6 co-conspirators and the four different plans that were being executed in order to try to change the results of the 2020 election? If how many of you all are familiar with those 6 people? I think so too, Cheryl. Yeah. Okay. Well, old Johnny, come on up here to the panel and let's talk about it before you end up muted too. Some? Okay. So I'm going to give them to you. Co-conspirator 1, Rudy Giuliani. Sorry. Yeah, Flutter by Jazz, we are staying safe out there. Co-conspirator 1 is Rudy Giuliani. Co-conspirator 2 is John Eastman. Co-conspirator 3 is Sidney Powell. Co-conspirator 4 is Jeffrey Clark. Although in the superseding indictment, they took the charges around Jeffrey Clark out because of the Supreme Court case decision. Co-conspirator 5 is Kenneth Chesebro. Co-conspirator 6 is Boris Epshteyn. Boris Epshteyn is currently working in the White House again as senior personal counsel to Trump. That's a role that he's had on and off for the last decade since he and I believe it was Eric went to Georgetown together. And Eric introduced Boris Epshteyn to him back there. Okay, back then. All right. So as we kind of, if you guys can help moderate things, but don't mute unless I give the go ahead. Okay. So what are y'all upset for? What I missed it. Somebody said something that upset people. Yeah, y'all got Cam typing in all caps. Oh, okay, I got you. So Eric, could you join the panel for me really quick? Yep, I'm going to handle it for him. So Eric, let me explain something. When you say the R word, right? The RETARDED word, that is actually a slur. And one of the things that I ask for in this space is that we do not use slurs. So you cannot like Democrats if you would like to. What you won't do is use slurs in this space. So if you say anything like that again, you will be muted and booted from the live, not because you're like, you have disagreeing opinions, not because you dislike Democrats, but because you are literally a vile human being that is using a slur for folks with mental health disabilities. Okay. So just so we're clear on that. Okay. Be better today. Be better. All right. So now that we're talking about the co-conspirators and the roles that they played, let's talk about the different pathways and the different things that were happening across the country at the time to do something about the 2020 election. And how do we know for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, besides the fact that he said it, that Donald Trump knew, yes, the co-conspirators are behind me. The only one that's not listed in the indictment, so General Flynn is not listed in the indictment, but however, he was working with Sidney Powell, and I'm going to read to you some testimony from Eric Hirschman about a meeting December 18th at the White House. Hey, Paul, where General Flynn was present along with Sidney Powell, right? Roger Stone is not listed as a co-conspirator because it wasn't necessary for the role that he played. There were other charges and things to be brought. So, but these are the co-conspirators. So this gentleman, for you guys, it's right here at the top. So above Rudy Giuliani is Boris Epshteyn. Below Boris Epshteyn is Rudy Giuliani. To the right of Rudy Giuliani is John Eastman. To the right of John Eastman in the middle is Roger Stone. He's where Trump's nussy would be. To the right of Roger Stone is General Flynn. To the right of General Flynn is Sidney Powell. And above Sidney Powell is Kenneth Chesebro. Okay. So when you understand exactly how I'm just saying, y'all knew where to look then, didn't you? So anyway, a little humor is good for the soul, people. A little humor is good for the soul. Okay. So, when you understand the roles that they played, and sometimes there were points of intersection, you'll know what, kind of how everything went down. So for example, so what do you call the fake electors and people like Bannon? So those were not co-conspirators, especially in the case of some of the fake electors, Big John. And the reason some of the fake electors, you won't call them co-conspirators because they weren't actually part of the conspiracy. What they believed, right? What some of the co-conspirators, what some of the fake electors believed is they were actually told, hey, listen, we won't use your electors' paperwork until we win in court. They were lied to, they were used. Many of them, they actually believed it. They weren't. So it's not just did you participate, right? Because you could be participating, but if you participated not knowing what you were doing wasn't real, wasn't accurate, that doesn't make you a co-conspirator, which is why those people were also testifying in the courts. They were available as witnesses, and they spoke freely with Jack Smith. Why is everybody talking to Sandy? What have I told y'all about talking to the trolls? Where can somebody just here? Oh, Sandy's not real. Sandy, you have your settings so that I can't bring you to the panel. And what I'm not going to let you do is sit in the comments and be distracting. So if you want to have a conversation about the things that you're saying, like a real fact-based adult conversation, please join the panel. If not, you will be muted because you're becoming a distraction. And we're actually here to do productive shit. So, Sandy, join the panel before you get muted. So other people that I see have joined or have requested. Sarah Flynn, did you mean to request to come to the panel? What's up, Macaroni in the house? Tell Sue I said hello. So Abu Amar, there are two different things taking place, okay? And while I agree that Zionism is horrible across the country and around the world, and I agree that Zionism has no place in American politics, even though it does because of Kufi and AIPAC, I also need to make sure that we understand these are two different things, and we have to have the space to talk about both of them at their appropriate times. Right now, in this moment, we are talking about the fate of the United States of America. We are talking about an attempted coup to overturn our government and our country. And by the way, if that continues to be something that is successful, right, then we won't have the opportunity to do anything about Zionism or about what's happening in Palestine. So what would be fantastic is if everybody just respected the space that you're in. I devote a lot of time and energy to talking about Palestine and the history and the Nakba and how we got to where we are today. I devote a lot of time to making sure that I put out facts and information with regard to Gaza and all of that and helping people there. I'm also going to talk about what we need to talk about right now because we have midterms coming up. We have primaries that are beginning next week. There are primaries in Minnesota. There are primaries in Texas. There are primaries in Michigan. There are primaries that begin in the next week all across this country. And we must be about the business of getting this country together, or we will not be in a position to help a soul. I cannot help you if I do not help me. I cannot give what I do not have. If I do not have liberty, I cannot help you obtain it. If I do not have rights, I cannot help you get yours. If I do not have my voice, I cannot help you get yours. So the bottom line is right now, we're going to dedicate specific time to facts that are really important. Because here's what I do believe, is if the majority of the American people actually knew what was happening in 2020, leading up to the election and leading up to January 6th, if everyone clearly knew the facts, we would not have the president that we do right now. No, that's actually not true. Democrats don't just need their name on the ballot to win Big John, because if that were true, Trump wouldn't be the president right now. Being a Democrat with a D beside your name is not enough. Nor should it be. Let me just be clear. Nor should it be enough. There are Democrats in Congress right now that need their ass voted the fuck out. And once we secure the majority in Congress again, right? Once we get back to establishing 3 separate but equal branches of government, By the time we get to the next elections in 2027 and 2028, those other Democrats will get their fuck primaried and out. They'll be primaried and out. Right? Now, here's what I will talk about very quickly. And I'm going to share it with you guys over here so that you can see it as well. So for people who say the January 6th committee, y'all tickle me. Y'all really do. The January 6th committee destroyed all the documents. Let me show your non-reading ass a few things. Are you ready? So this, beloveds, is the website where you can see all of the data. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to do this little window for y'all over here. So you see this? Select January 6th committee final report and supporting materials collection. You can actually go here. You can read the final report. You can go look at all the court documents. You can go look at the documents on file with the committee. You can go look at the hearing videos. You can actually, and this is the one I love. This is my favorite, which is why it's open. You see this one? This is the one where you can see the actual interviews and the actual depositions of the people that were interviewed and investigated by the committee. This is the amazing part that's here. I love this part. Okay, now I'm going to expand it for a moment. You can see video exhibits and web resources that are referenced by the committee. So when you say to me, it's not here, it is here. Go read it. Go look at it. And here's what I would say to you. If you haven't ever been to this bye. Now you're just going to get booted the fuck out because bye. I don't do a ton of misinformation. The link is in my link tree, you guys. The link is in my link tree. I don't know any other way for me to be able to say this to you all, but I have gone over this information a ton, right? Listen, and Big John, when people say, I'm sorry, what? I'm missing. What are y'all saying about Jules? Could Jules Sanchez request up? What is she? I don't understand. What is she saying? I can't with y'all. Oh, and I'm definitely not doing bot accounts today. Y'all, I need y'all to try to, this viewer will not be able to watch any of the current creators live. Confirm. 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 All right. So this part's really important. Hey, Evelyn, good to see you. So here we go. All right. So listen, folks, we're going to walk through this and I really need everybody to pay attention. Okay, please. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Lanny. Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about all of these things, right, I'm going to walk you through. Yeah, they are. Yes, Tracy, it did. Okay. So listen. So the first thing that I want to talk about is how do we know for sure that Donald Trump knew he lost the 2020 election? Because I think that was a main point that that the one GOP member of the committee yesterday was trying to point out when she said, you have to meet this standard. You have to meet this burden of being able to show that he knew that what he was saying was false, that he knew he lost the election. And here's my thing. We know that he said it himself several times, right? We know that he did. But even if you're like, oh, that's not what he meant, or he just misspoke. What matters is, because one of the things that she tried, let me tell you a point that she tried to make yesterday. She tried to make the point that that there were all of these other people that were in his ear and they were telling him all of these things and he was just regurgitating it. He was just repeating it So he's not liable for what he repeats, which, first of all, it's absolutely asinine to me that you believe that the president of the United States of America should not be held accountable for repeating misinformation. We're not in grade school. We're not in middle school. Of course you are responsible for repeating the things that you say, repeating the information that you get. Of course you are. But the thing about it is that we know that he knew better, because just as there were these people in his ears that were saying things, right? There were also other people in his ears saying something different. Lewis, this is your notice. So for my moderators, Lewis has 60 seconds to join the panel before Lewis Melgara is muted and booted from the live. Don't boot, just mute, because that way he can't talk, but he got to listen or leave. So Lewis, yeah, I invited him, Cam. Good morning, Stacey B in the place to be. All right, so listen, this part's important. So when we talk about how many people were in his ears saying, here's what you can do, here's an avenue that we can try, that is different than saying you legitimately won the election. So I want you all to understand something. These folks, right, that you see up here saying, hey, sir, this might be a way we can stay in office, is not saying you legitimately won the 2020 presidential election. It's not the same thing. And that distinction is really important, because there is nobody on this image right here saying that to him. Okay. Good morning, Nance. Okay. Thank you, Phantom. Okay. So, right, that part, Carol. And the fact that you would support somebody who doesn't know fact from fiction and is supposed to be the president of the United States is also alarming, right? So let me just handle, oops, hold on. Where did it go? Okay, so California Red, I've sent you an invitation to join the panel. You have 60 seconds to do that before you are also muted for misinformation. Nope, I didn't forget the My Pillow guy in the pic, because the My Pillow guy was not one of the co-conspirators, nor was he a main part of the efforts to overthrow the election. He's just somebody that was dumb enough to give them a shit ton of his money until he went broke, right? That's all the My Pillow guy was. They used him and they used his money like a dumbass to go broke. And all of a sudden he went from being a My Pillow guy to now he's the press sitting in the Pentagon. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to walk through this, and how do we know? So the first thing that I want to do is I want to talk about Bill Barr's testimony before the investigators for January 6th. Okay. So for those of you all who want to read along, here's what I'm about to do for you. I am about to give you the link specifically to the deposition that I am reading from. Okay. So for my mods, I'm creating a new collection. We already have a collection of January 6th documents, but I'm going to do a collection for the ones that I'm reading right now. Okay. And this is going to be, hold on, J6 transcripts. All right. So the first one that I'm putting in right now, y'all don't talk to the trolls, please. This one is specifically going to be Bill Barr's. Okay. Appreciate it, Javier. Did it go? Did it not go? What did it do? Okay, so I'm going to rename this one at the top so that you know what it is. This is Bill Barr transcript. All right, so If you want to read along, it's in the link tree for you. I try to do this so that everybody could kind of go along with me and see what I'm talking about. Are you ready? Good morning, Twisted. Good morning, Penny GF. Good to see you. Carlos Vargas, you have 60 seconds. So one of my mods, if Carlos doesn't join the panel in 60 seconds, he can go ahead and be muted. Anthony, sweetheart, if you are not interested in what I have to say, you feel free to leave the channel. You don't got to be here. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate you. All right, so here we go. So folks, this is actually a free space. If you don't want to listen to me, you can leave. Okay? Good morning, David. All right, so here we go. What I'm going to do now is actually read to you from the transcript. Yeah, it took it a second too. It's probably because it's so extensive, Jay Bird, to be honest. But it's there now because I'm looking at it. All right, but here we go. You guys ready? So remember that this is Bill Barr. And at the time that all of this was happening, Bill Barr was the head of he was the Attorney General. He was the head of the DOJ, right? And this part's really important. So let's try to listen and focus on it, okay? So this interview was done on June the 2nd of 2022 in DC. Yesterday, I read a lot of the introductions and who all was in the room. I'll leave that for you to go look at and do yourself. What I want to skip to is the opening, okay? And what they said to Mr. Barr was, so before we begin with the questioning, he says, Attorney General Barr, I'd love to give you the opportunity to make any opening statement that you wish. That is at the bottom of page 3, and now I'm at the top of page 4, okay? This is Bill Barr, and I'm reading directly from the transcript. Here's what it says. This is from Bill Barr. Quote, as you know, I tendered my resignation from the department on December the 14th, 2020, effective December 23rd, 2020. But before I left, I had made it clear publicly that I did not believe the outcome of the election, nor could I find any evidence indicating that the outcome of the election was caused by voting fraud. And I made the department, in fact, when we received specific and credible allegations of fraud, we made an effort to look into these to satisfy ourselves that they were without merit. And here's the part. Y'all ready? Remember, how did we know that he knew that he lost? It's at line 8, page 4. And I repeatedly told the president in no uncertain terms that I did not see evidence of fraud, that could have affected the outcome of the election. And frankly, a year and a half later, I haven't seen anything to change my mind on that. So we are now talking about the top DOJ official selected by Donald Trump, saying, hey, listen, when I resigned, I had repeatedly told the president of the United States, I saw no outcome determinative voter fraud impacting the 2020 election. Why is that important? 2 things are important about that statement. Number 1, well, actually 3 things about what he's already said that are very important. The first one is that the Department of Justice actually looked into every credible allegation to ensure that the election was secure, to ensure that the outcome was exactly what it should have been, and that no voter fraud had changed anything. Okay. Number two, he said, listen, I repeatedly told the president at that time that I did not believe, nor could I find any evidence to prove different. So that means he knew, right? He told him, I'm your top legal dude, and I am telling you, there's no voter fraud here. None that would change the outcome of the election. And that's the third thing that I want to make a distinction on. Okay? This is the part that I want to make the distinction on, is that outcome determinative is ridiculously important. Okay? When you say, oh, well, there was fraud because 12 people in Georgia that there were votes for were actually dead. That was not going to change the outcome of the election. Okay? Outcome determinative is the important phrase that needs to be looked at. There was nothing in the 60 plus cases that were filed in court. There was nothing anywhere that suggested the outcome should have been anything other than Joe Biden won the 2020 election. He goes on to say, and frankly, a year and a half later, I still haven't seen anything that changes my mind. He goes on to say, I think it's important that people understand the role of the department in elections. So, Drew, I do think people care. Thank you for the dragon. Drew, I do think that people care. I'm interested in why. So let me just invite you, Drew, to come to the panel. Let's discuss that. Because let me just say this to you all. If you are of the mindset, I don't care, right? You are an even bigger problem than the people that voted for Donald Trump. This idea of, oh, it doesn't matter because it was in the past. It does matter. Because there are many, many lessons that we needed to learn from what happened in January 6th and since that time frame. The fact that you are saying, I don't think anybody cares about this because it doesn't change anything is quite alarming to me. Because you should care that the then president of the United States engaged in a conspiracy to overthrow the 2020 election in order to stay in power. And once he was reelected, he pardoned everyone that was convicted of helping him do that. It should be alarming to you. Like, what are we talking about that Americans shouldn't care? Of course they should care. Right? Let me fix this real quick. Okay, no, I'm good. Appreciate you guys. All right, so here we go. And so he goes on to say, I think it's important that people understand the role of the department in elections because I think there's a lot of confusion has resulted from people not understanding. And so he outlines what the role of the department is. Okay, and here's what he says. Elections are controlled by the states. The states are responsible for policing and enforcing the election rules in the first instance. The department, and when he says the department, he is referring to the Justice Department. The department's role is that it is limited to investigating and prosecuting actual fraud, actual voting fraud, which is different than just complaints about the fairness of the process or the rules that were followed. So, for example, I'm going to bring up this thing in Georgia where when we say 300 ballots were counted that weren't signed off on by someone in the office. So understand that not signing off on something is a clerical error. It doesn't mean that the vote itself is fraudulent. So if the person that cast their ballot was eligible to vote and they voted, and there's no reason that they shouldn't have voted, their vote is supposed to count. Whether or not somebody stamped the damn piece of paper doesn't determine whether or not the vote is fraudulent or real. The vote is still real. Okay? So that's the difference when we talk about clerical errors, because we are human beings and human beings do make clerical errors, right? That's the difference between a clerical error and actual fraud. Okay? So when we say 300,000 votes didn't get signed off on by somebody because they missed a batch of whatever, that does not nullify the rights of those 300 American citizens to vote. Okay? Just so we're clear. And that includes, out of those 300 and some odd thousand people, the people that voted for Trump and the people that voted for Biden and the people that voted for anybody else. Okay? Now, the next part of that is to also understand what it means when we talk about outcome determinative voter fraud and we don't have a problem with real citizens voting. It's illegals we have a problem with. Well, Wesley, let's talk about that. Come join the panel, Wesley. Let's talk about that.
All of these people.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I really want to have this conversation with you.
You said no need. Okay.
Well, apparently there is a need because you said it in the comments, right? So either you want to have this conversation or you don't. And maybe you don't want to have the conversation because you know what you said isn't a real thing. So can we be clear about something? That an unauthorized immigrant doesn't vote in the election. Do you want to know why? Because they get deported and then they get put in prison. No, I don't want to argue. What I want to do is talk about the facts. And if you want to talk about the facts, then let's come talk about them. What's up, Xavier? So, I mean, if you really believe what you say, then come have a conversation about it, Wesley. Because I really don't think that, I don't think that you believe it. To be honest, I don't think that you believe it. I think you are regurgitating things. And I think the statements that you're saying are just a cover for whatever else you want to believe in. I think that it sounds good. I think that if I say I don't support unauthorized immigrants voting, then that gives me an excuse to not like unauthorized immigrants who are predominantly Black and brown, because those are the people that we're talking about. We're not talking about the unauthorized immigrants that have overstayed on their visas, right? We're not talking about that. That is literally the largest growing population of unauthorized immigrants are people overstaying their visas. So when you get to talk about, oh, I don't have a problem, let me explain this to you all. If it was actually about unauthorized immigrants, then we would be going after our our European immigrants, right? We'd be taking a look at people who are here on visas that have expired, whether that be student visas, whether that be work visas, whether that be whatever that be, right? That's what we would be doing, but we're not. Because when you discuss unauthorized immigrants, that has become a phrase, a dog whistle for Black and brown people who have an accent, who may or may not have been born in this country. Because many people are afraid of this quote unquote great replacement theory. So you either really care about unauthorized immigrants or you don't. Right. Or natives who look Hispanic. Absolutely. Which that's when I say Black or brown people, I also mean our indigenous population. So Wesley, I'm guessing that you don't really want to have a conversation about the facts around unauthorized immigrants and whether or not they vote in elections. Since you haven't joined the panel, I'm pretty sure that you're not interested in the facts. Is that correct, Wesley? And you were just popping off at the mouth because you didn't think anybody was going to hold you accountable for the shit coming out of it? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so um, yeah, folks, unauthorized immigrants do not vote in federal and state elections because it's against the law. And the whole thing is, I want you all to can we just use like common sense? Are you ready? Here's the common sense. The common sense is they want to be here in the United States of America. They want to be here, right? So why engage in something that would get your ass immediately deported and then barred from reentry, if not imprisoned? It literally makes no sense. Let me just go do dumb shit. Right, exactly. So when we talk about Bill Barr, so somebody asked me, what about Bill Barr and his credibility? Here's what I would say is, I am not saying that I believe absolutely everything that Bill Barr says. What I believe is that Bill Barr, just like Kevin McCarthy, just like Mike Pence, I believe that Bill Barr had a line and he was willing to do everything up to that line. And then he was like, I'm out. And so one of the things that makes this conversation from him being credible is, number one, it can be substantiated. We can actually go back and see, did he put out these statements that he said that he did? He did. Did he leave before or after January 6th? That also matters to me, right? He left prior to it. So I'm not saying believe anything that Bill Barr says. What I'm saying is that the history and the documents that are out here allow us to verify the timeline of the events, and it establishes his credibility with regard to this particular thing. Okay? I have said it before and I will continue to say it. Bill Barr, Kevin McCarthy, Mike Pence, none of those people are heroes to me. Not even Liz Cheney, not Adam Kinzinger. Like, I'm glad that they, quote unquote, saw the light after January 6th. But Liz Cheney and Adam voted along with the Trump agenda during the entire first administration. So you don't get me just falling and fawning all over you because you decided to do the right damn thing after they attacked the Capitol and the police and were hunting y'all's asses down. Like, yeah, no thanks. Like, that's not a thing. Mike Pence, you only gave a shit because they was literally trying to hang you, right? And the only reason you didn't go along with everything is because your legal counsel said, no, sir, you do not have the legal right to do this. And if you do it, you can be criminally culpable for those actions. That's the only reason Mike Pence didn't do this. If you all understand that, you need to understand that Mike Pence had his counsel, because the president has personal counsel, the vice president has personal counsel, the White House has counsel. Now, in an administration where everybody is operating with integrity and doing their job, the White House counsel is supposed to be looking out for the best interest of the entire country. Okay? The president's personal counsel is looking out for the president as a person. And then the vice president's personal counsel is looking out for his overall interest. See those three different things? And when everyone is operating from a place of integrity, when everyone is operating from a place of like, okay, let's do what's best for the country, all three of those things align. But when they're not, they don't. And in this case, they did not. They did not align. You had the White House with Pat Cipollone, right? You had the White House counsel saying, oh shit, none of this is okay. This is illegal. We shouldn't be doing this, right? And then you had, Scotty. And then you had Trump's attorneys being replaced, right? The Trump campaign's attorneys being replaced by Giuliani after they sit in court and admit that they lost. November 13th of 2020 in an Arizona courtroom, the Trump campaign's attorneys said on the record, we lost the election. And it was only after that date that Donald Trump announced that Rudy Giuliani was going to be taking over the legal efforts of the campaign. Because Rudy was willing to say and do things that the other attorneys and the other members of the campaign, like Bill Stepien, were not willing to do. This is not difficult, folks. And if this is difficult for you, if you are experiencing resistance or opposition to what I'm saying, that is a sign to explore your bias. Why do you need to believe this thing? Why do you need to believe it? What is it justifying for you? What are you getting or what are you avoiding by this? Are you avoiding the fact that you are supporting a fascist, sexist, racist, ableist agenda? Do you get to avoid having to take accountability for the people that you voted into office? Or do you get to feel elevated and above other people who are beneath you? Do you get to be on the winning team so that you feel okay? And I'm so serious when I ask these questions. These are the things that you might want to ask yourself because the facts are very, very clear. So he goes on to say, there was this basic dichotomy that appeared very early on where the allegations that were actually being raised were more in the nature of people violating election rules, not specific allegations of fraud. For example, saying, quote, our observers were excluded, or quote unquote, there was harvesting going on, right? He said, those are things. And he said, I go into this because listen to what Bill Barr said. I had to educate the president about this on at least 3 occasions. Those are the kinds of issues. Those are the issues for campaign lawyers to raise with the state, but not for the Department of Justice to investigate, right? They're not the business of the Department of Justice. He goes on to say, those things happening might increase the opportunity for fraud, but they are not allegations of actual fraud. And in order for us to take something seriously, we needed to get a specific and credible allegation of actual fraud. And in my mind, that people who were not eligible to vote, such as dead people, voting, or their votes being cast and being counted, because y'all do understand that just because it was cast doesn't mean it was counted. Okay. And he says, or a scheme by where something like that was occurring. He said, in my understanding of the department's approach prior to the 2020 election was in the Justice Manual, which I understood to say that U.S. attorneys had discretion to conduct preliminary assessments of claims of voter fraud, but if they were going to embark on a full-fledged investigation, they should consult with the public integrity section. Now, why do I love the mention of the public integrity section here? Why does that just make me giddy? Because we heard it talked about yesterday. That's the department that Jack Smith used to be part of. He literally used to be part of the public integrity section. The emails that they're talking about with reference to the non-content call logs, which we're going to get to, right? And they're saying, oh, there was risk. Was there any risk? Let me just explain something to you all. In any investigation where you are subpoenaing someone's personal records, there's always a risk of litigation. Always a risk of potential litigation. The key is you weigh that and say, okay, what are the risks? Especially if you're going after rich and powerful people. There's always a risk of litigation. Rich people love the fucking court system because they got the time and the money to stay in that bitch all day. Poor people, not so much. Okay? So, you're not going to sit in here and spam my comments. Bye. Okay, done. So, he's saying I had to explain the process to the president so that he understood that the Department of Justice only gets involved if we are going to do a full-fledged investigation into actual credible threats of voter fraud. And then those allegations have to be, right, real, and they have to be enough to be outcome determinative. Would we have changed the outcome of the election? So there are 5 people that I see that have requested up. So I see Sarah Flynn, I see USC Power, I see the one and only I see Rantman, A. Gustin, and then a user. If any of you all are requesting to talk about the facts of the case, it is aeronautical. It is. It's on Facebook and YouTube recorded, and it's recorded anyway. But if you all are desiring to talk about this, please do me a favor and put a 2 in the comments. If you have requested up to specifically talk about this, you're welcome. Put a 2 in the comments so that I can see that you meant to request up. Sometimes people do it for no reason. Okay, I got you, Rant Man. Anybody else who I named that wants to talk about the facts around this and the deposition that I'm reading? Anybody else? There's about 5 or 6 of you all that are in the requests. All right. So what I'm going to do, because I'm going to bring up a couple of people that have requested to come up. Here's what I'm going to say to you. Number one, in this space, this is not a rage bait, scream at each other, rant and rave live. This is not what I do here. So if you're interested in that, there are lots of other panels that you can go to. If you want to have a respectful conversation where we don't interrupt each other, if we do interact, appreciate you, Aaron Narkle, for becoming a super fan. If we do interrupt, it's to ask for clarification or get something further on a particular point, and that we just engage in that type of productive conversation. If you want to scream and call names and do all of that, this is not the space for you. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to withdraw your request if that's your intent, right? But if you really want to discuss the facts, then we can do that. Okay. All right. So hopefully everybody's on the same sheet of music. When you first come up, do me a favor and put yourself on mute until I get to you. Chris, this is a fact-based live. Oof. Please mute yourself when I first bring you to the panel. Appreciate it. Folks, and if there's anybody over here that wants to join the panel, let me put the link on this side for you to be able to do that as well. What's up, Brian? Good morning. All right, so let's start with what I got. So, Rant Man, good morning. How are you?
Good. I just had to unmute myself, so I'm doing good. I don't go on any lives really, and I saw yours for a brief period of time. I like the way you were articulating. Of course, I agree. I think you're on the side of justice with Jack Smith. Regarding the phone logs, I'll just start with that briefly.
Yeah.
As Jack Smith said, and I watched 6 of his 8 hours in the private deposition, and then I watched here and there yesterday. But what some people don't understand, because they were trying to float MAGA Republicans in the oversight hearing conspiracy, like, oh, he just targeted Republicans. Like, why did he? And it's like, well, because Donald Trump made the calls to these Republicans. And so therefore, their records were subpoenaed. Like you said, there wasn't any content. But it's just a big dog and whistle theater with these people trying to imply that somehow, well, he only targeted Donald Trump. Well, there were other people that, if given the time, Jack Smith would have brought them to court, the case against them. But because it was dismissed with the help of Eileen Cannon and the timelessness of Merrick Garland and being kind of late to the party, none of that happened. But it's just very black and white. Donald Trump was found to have crossed the line tremendously with all these allegations. And Jack Smith thought he could prove beyond a reasonable doubt, if given the opportunity, that he would have been convicted. It's that simple.
It is.
It's that simple.
And to address the things that people are saying, okay, when they say, oh, it's overreach to subpoena non-content call records, it's really not. And it's standard practice when you are investigating a conspiracy. So follow me. When you are investigating a conspiracy, and you know that the person that you believe to be the head of the conspiracy made phone calls within a specified time frame, right? that might enable you to identify a timeline, what's happening, what parties, what roles may have been done, then it's actually standard practice to simply go after, seek a subpoena to obtain non-content call logs. So when we talk about non-content call logs, that means what? That means all they're getting is the date and the time of the call, whether or not the call was answered, whether it went to voicemail, whatever, right? Whether or not the length of that call, if it was in fact answered, and then where it applied. So, yep. So Chris, let's talk about that. I invited you to the panel and I see you're still in the chat. So here's what I'm going to let you do, Chris. You can come to the panel and we can discuss that, which I already addressed that before you got in here, but I'm happy to address it again. But come to the panel and we can discuss it. Because if you don't want to do that, what I'm not going to let you do is be distracting or promote misinformation in my chat. Okay? All right. So here's the thing.
I add one other thing when you get a chance?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The other, really quick, and I really appreciate the content of your live. The other thing that was being pursued down the rabbit hole was that Donald Trump had this freedom of speech, that he could contest and give opinions about what he thought was corrupt or unfair about the results. And what Jack Smith was pointing out was that you do not get to do that when you know that what you're saying is a lie and you're using it for purposes of persuasion to the 10th degree as Donald Trump. So there's a big difference.
Yeah. So what Jack said is he could say it. So let me just say this. He could say it even if he knew it wasn't true. He could. But what he couldn't do was then use it in a scheme to stop the official collection, counting, and certification of the votes. And so that's where people need to understand. You have freedom of speech. You can say whatever. It doesn't mean that there are not consequences for that speech when it's used in a particular manner. Okay? And so that's the part that makes it different. He can say, I won the 2020 election, and he can even say that knowing that he didn't. But when he says that to get, for example, to get fake electors or people to pretend that they are the real electors and to do illegal actions, he can't do that. And so that's the part that people really need to understand. So when we talk about the content call logs, number one, being a member of Congress doesn't mean you get to break the law. I know a lot of times they do, but it doesn't mean you get to. And it doesn't mean that if you are involved in illegal activity that you cannot be investigated, and that if a prosecutor is investigating you, they shouldn't do it like they do every other investigation, right? So good morning, Glitzy. So again, when we talk about this non-content call logs, it's literally the phone numbers, who got called, who answered the call, did it get answered, did it go to voicemail, how long was the call, where were these people at when they made the calls, who did they call afterwards? Like, it's really important. If you pick up the phone and you call me, Rant Man. So let me give you an example. Let's just say, I don't even know you, but let's just say you pick up the phone and you call me. And somebody else has robbed a bank, right? You pick up the phone, you call me because the person who robbed the bank is actually your friend. You call me, and then an hour later, I call the person that robbed the bank. That's necessary information. We should know that you called me and I called them, and then they robbed a bank. Like, we should know. Yes. All right. Yes. So this is not difficult, guys. This is not outside of the norm. This is not a political agenda. This is how you do criminal investigations. Period.
Well, and it was part of Jack Smith's pursuit to contextualize when the activity on the day was happening where Donald Trump was soliciting the assistance of Republicans. That's why Democrats were not in. And so it's this whole down the rabbit hole, Pizzagate-like conspiracy that, it was going after the Republicans, going after Donald Trump. Yes, because Donald Trump was the main perpetrator.
Yeah. So you go after the person that's committing the crime. And I'm going to give you an example. If I'm investigating, and I'm going to use some, this is a crazy comparison, but just follow me, y'all. If I'm investigating the red bandana people for unaliving a blue bandana person, I'm not going to have to take all the records of the blue bandana people? Because the blue bandana people were not involved in the red bandana people unaliving the blue bandana person. You get that, right?
Yeah, get your manipulatives out, get your whiteboard, and let's do some teaching here.
Yeah.
This is not really that complicated.
It's not complicated at all.
Yeah. The reason Jack Smith, and this is why I love the guy, the reason Jack Smith is pursuing this, just for anybody who's confused watching this, is Jack Smith cares about the rule of law.
Yeah.
He cares about this country. And if you don't have people held accountable to breaking the rule of law, including Donald Trump, we're seeing exactly what's happening right now, people. So it's not
100%.
Really that hard to figure out.
It's not. And the thing that he is so principled. He is so pragmatic. He is so, he's so unbothered by the stuff that they're trying to say, because he said very simply, anybody who knows me knows ABCDXYZ. They already know this is not a thing that would ever happen. Things that I think that I would have welcomed yesterday. Okay, so instead of saying to Jack Smith, hey, you've investigated Republicans and Democrats before, and regardless of their party, right? And he said, yes, I've investigated some, Here's what, if I had been a member of the hearing committee, I would have already known the answer to my question and the specifics. So what I would have done is gone back and look at the cases that Jack investigated when he was part of the DOJ, or when he was in the Department of Office of Integrity, or anywhere else. And what I would have found is a Republican he investigated that he chose not to prosecute, right? And then I would have found a Democrat that he investigated that he did prosecute, and preferably 2 of each.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
Preferably 2 of each. And what I would have said is, hey, Mr. Smith, there's been a lot of to-do made today that this was a political agenda. So do I understand that in this date, at this time period, you investigated such and such who was a member of the Democratic Party? Yes, I did. Great.
Yes.
You chose not to prosecute this particular person, and they were a member of the Republican Party, right?
Yep.
That would have been a way to just nip that shit right in the bud with straight facts and specific information.
Yeah. Because what it was just a massive strategy by the MAGA Republicans to lead the people that believe this crap down the rabbit hole of it's conspiracy, it's Pizzagate, different circumstances, but it's to put in the minds of the Fox Entertainment viewers that this is a deranged person that just wants to prevent Trump from being president.
But this is my thing, Rant Man.
Game plan.
So I'm like you. We watched Jack's deposition, the 8 hours, right? And we went over the transcripts. So the Democrats were part of that, right?
Yeah.
So they should have known specifically what the agenda of the GOP members of the committee was, right? Mm-hmm. They should have known what the conspiracy was going to be, what they were going to go after. And so instead of planning their questions or their time as a place to grandstand, right, which is what they did, they should have planned their questions on how to actually counteract the bullshit that was going to come from the other side.
Sometime, and I hope you'll do this, you should, and I'll listen in as a guest or chime in, the DNC and their mammoth incompetence in recognizing how to strategize and how to if you can't beat a convicted felon with the track record and the skeletons this clown had, and you're coming late to the party and throwing poor Kamala 105 days before the
107.
election. Yeah. And you don't still, if I'm going to be brief, as if that wasn't bad enough.
Right.
Then to see Chuck Schumer with about 5 people in front of a federal court building with little picket signs saying, we will win. And they're still not cohesive and together as a front against this. So it makes me bananas.
So things that I have said and I keep saying. So number one, let me say this. Hey, Penton, welcome. So one of the things that I will say is this. Number one, Donald Trump has been campaigning for 10 years.
Yep.
Okay. And after campaigning for 10 years straight, he was only able to beat Kamala Harris by 1.5%. And she was only the candidate for 107 days.
Oh,
So,
107,
yeah. So if you have been campaigning for 10 years straight and you can only beat your opposition by 1% and they only had 107 days, you suck.
Yeah.
What that tells me and what that should tell the Democratic Party is people were looking for a reason not to vote for him, and the Democratic Party didn't give it to him. All the Democratic Party did was talk about Trump the whole fucking time.
That's right.
People don't want to hear about that. So I
That's
played
right.
this yesterday and I'll play it again. So this is my theme for the Democratic Party. Just hold on a second.
As you're doing that, I had an insider in the party high up. She wouldn't give me her name. She was like the deep throat of all the president's men, and she was giving me the inside track on all this while it was going on live. Like, personally.
So that doesn't surprise me. So check this out. So this is what I believe the country is saying to the Democratic Party. You know this song?
Yeah.
If y'all don't know this song, I'm Gen X, okay? But this is what
I danced this song at like 1 in the morning as well. I was looking for a day.
used to go down, come from me. Used to brag about it all the time. This song is "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" What have you done for me lately? Right? That is what people want to know. The Democratic Party is living off. I want you to ask yourself this, you all. What are the significant human rights issues? What are the significant issues that Democrats have done for people in this country since the 1970s?
Oh my God. I mean, where do you stop? Labor, changes, unions, all kind of healthcare. I mean, you name it.
But here's my point. Have they told anybody that?
No, because like you said so correctly, it was a combination of let's dismiss Donald Trump's ridiculous statements, let's laugh about him, and then let's just go on the attack without going into specifics about all the things that needed to happen.
And so
affordability, housing, etc.
And this is my thing. So the major wins that we have had, and we have had them. The problem is people don't know it, and it's because the Democratic Party, you all give Trump more press than he gets himself.
That's right.
You literally, like yesterday, if you had been on here with me yesterday, I literally was about to just lose it. When they started reading his fucking Truth Socials on the committee hearings,
that's right.
I wanted to like throat punch somebody. Like, what are you doing? This is your opportunity to let Jack give the facts to people, and you didn't do that. And the problem that I have with so many of them right now is yesterday I watched them talk for 2.5, 3 minutes before they asked a single question of Jack. And then the question that they asked him was close-ended. All he could say was yes or no.
Yeah. But you make a great point, because one of the things that infuriates me is you get people, and I think there's a remarkable improvement with Hakeem Jeffries over Chuck Schumer. But even Hakeem Jeffries, when he speaks, all he's doing is echoing what Trump says.
Yes.
And what we all know what he's doing. We don't need to be told what he's doing.
Okay,
we don't need to be told what he said. You know?
Yeah. I said, so here are the issues that I have. So number one, Hakeem Jeffries does not need to be the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw me draw my breath. Yeah. So for me, there are multiple layers to this, right? Here's what I mean. When I think about what's best for the country, the United States of America right now in this moment, we need every Democratic member of Congress in, and as many as we can, in order to win back the majority, because that's what we need as a country. And at the same time, out of my own mouth, I have to be able to say, we have a problem with the Democratic Party when it comes to Israel, and when it comes to AIPAC and Kufi and NORPAC and J Street and all the things. And the Democratic Party, if they don't start talking about that, like, and being honest and open, some of those people are going to have to say, hey, I've got to be accountable. I was on this team. I supported these things, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Or, in my opinion, there needs to be a 2-step process. So the 2-step process for me is every Democrat candidate that's on the ballot needs to be voted in come midterms. Okay. And then after that, between midterms and 2028, every Democratic candidate that is not on the side of actual humanity, on the side of progressives, on the side of women, on the side of disabled individuals, and on the side of the LGBTQ plus community and Black and brown people and indigenous people, every Democrat who doesn't have their shit together should be primaried. Primary the fuck out of those people.
That's what David Hogg said. Is it Hogg, the young David
Yes,
Hogg?
that's why they got his ass out the damn DNC.
They ran his ass out of town. And I'll tell you what, Tara Palmineri, I think is her name. She's a journalist that appears a lot on credible shows. She's a big proponent of the survivors of the E-Files. She said that she went to a function in DC, and it was a church at a bar gathering. And the Republicans had probably about 700 young Republicans there. It's supposed to be a church service at a bar, and all they talked about was strategizing and getting more young voters into the party.
Yeah.
And she said, as much as she's anti-MAGA, that it was impressive. That's what the Democrats don't understand.
Yes.
That's the opposition. They're doing the long game, and they're not into short victories. They've been trying to do this crap since the 70s.
Yes. They have been at this for a good ass time. And this is,
Yes.
So one of the things that I said is, do you want to know how I know how much they want this? They want it enough to write a fucking 900-page playbook.
Yeah, which
right?
I have people in my lives go, well, he said he doesn't know anything about Project 2025.
Right, but
And
here's
I'm like, and you believe that? Okay.
Right. So here's my thing, though. Show me the progressive Project 2025. Show it to me.
Yeah, there is none.
There's not one.
There is none. There is none.
And that's my point, and that's what people are looking for. And so for me, I'm very pragmatic. So I'll tell you this: when we talked about the election in 2024, because I didn't start going live on TikTok until the end of July 2024, because my oldest child asked me to come over here.
Oh.
She said, "Mom, please, because people need to hear what you're saying." Because I've been on Facebook for a long time, but I hadn't come over here. So but in this time, this is what I said to people. The reality is this, because people were, especially like if we're talking about Palestine, and I have come to know and love some really fantastic people in Palestine, right? And this is what I've been saying to people prior to the election. I said, imagine that we are all on this plane, and the plane is called the United States of America. Okay. And the plane that we're on already has one engine blown. That shit got taken out on January 6th, right? Yep. Imagine like the oxygen masks have dropped, damn it, right? And the person who is piloting the ship at the time, which was Joe Biden, is asking you to put your mask on and help him land the plane. Are you going to look out the window of your plane and go, oh, wait, Gaza's on fire, I'm not going to help the pilot? No, you have to put your mask on. You must land your plane. You must, or what? You crash and burn, and then you can't help Gaza even if you want to. And people are like,
I put that on the DNC as well, because prior to the election, or I don't know if we can say election, I had a gal that would come in who lived in Hungary. She lived in Hungary. She knew the history.
Oh, she was on. I had one that was on my live a lot. She was going everywhere leading up to the election.
Everywhere. Claudia was her name.
Yep, and she was going everywhere.
Claudia would say, this is exactly what happened in Hungary.
Yeah.
And people would dismiss her. Oh, that'll never happen. Oh, well, if he does that, I'm not going to support him anymore. And it won't matter. Sure enough, everything she said came true.
Yeah.
Everything she said came true. And let me say this. There's no argument that Kamala Harris is 10 times more qualified, if not 100, than the idiot we have in office right now. But make no mistake, in my humble opinion, strategy-wise, they did her a disservice. I don't think she wanted to run the way she was run by her election strategy.
Oh, I know she didn't. Have you read her book?
No, I haven't.
But I recommend you get it.
I'll get it, because I did not recognize, given this opportunity, when asked about Israel, and I think it was, maybe this is in the book, an allegiance to Biden, and she didn't want to throw him under the bus. With all due respect to Biden, she should have thrown him under the bus. She should have talked about Israel. She should have talked about distancing herself and being her own face and leader of this country, because there's too many misogynistic racists out there that wanted to just tear her up. So and she gave them some opportunity.
She did. Well, because she was the vice president at the time. There were quote unquote peace talks happening at the same time that she's running for office. And so here's what I said to people. She came as close as she could on the debate stage when she was specifically asked about Israel and Palestine. And what she said was, I got it within one heart. What she said is, there needs to be a two-state solution. She specifically said that. And she specifically said that Israel needed to stop unaliving thousands of innocent civilians, right? Yep. So, folks, that's as close as you're going to get for a sitting vice president to speak against the actions of the current president, right? That's as close as you're going to get. And in addition to that, if you really want to know, and this is what I said, and I'm going to say it again, and people can get mad if they want to. I don't know of a single other vice president that has been expected to stop the G-side and the illegal occupation of Palestine, except for the Black woman. It is wild to me that there's not been anybody else. There's not been a single white male president been asked to fix the shit that they started. But all of a sudden, it's Kamala Harris's. She has to say it. She has to do it. You didn't require that from anybody else.
That's a good point. And the racist misogynists in this country made it their primary message goal to dismiss her as an unqualified Black woman.
Yeah.
That was the attack. Mm-hmm. And that was so readable and so obvious that what I wanted her to say was on that debate stage, and not these exact words, "Are you effing kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?"
Like afterwards when she said these motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I want that. When you get in a dogfight with a piece of shit like Donald Trump and you have to go mano a mano, this whole Democrat, we go high when they go low. No, you go subterranean when they go low.
But when they go low, you give them an uppercut. That's what you do.
Yeah.
If you've ever boxed, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so I hear you. And this is my thing that I really want people to understand about something. Give me a second. I want to go over to something. I'm going to play something for you. Okay, so can we take care of baby carrot bot energy? I already got that one. Okay, so give me a second. I'm going to play something for you guys because I have very specific thoughts about, and I'm going to maybe play it for you. Yep, I am.
Poor David Hogg.
Here's my thing. Here's where I believe he should have been and could have been more articulate. Instead of saying primary, because listen, we do need every Dem in office in 2026. Like that's just the truth. We do. Like that's a thing. It has to happen. But what needs to be said to these individuals is, okay, so listen, you might want to understand that we know that we need to vote for you in 2026, but if you don't get your shit together by 2028, you will be gone. And if there is a Democrat that can primary you in 2026 and beat the Republican, you're going to be out now.
Yeah.
And that was that for me is the way that I would have positioned it. So
He came in hot. He came in very
and without you have to be able to articulate the plan pragmatically, and they're not doing that. Still not exactly, still not. And so that's part of the problem. So what I want to do really quickly, because I'm going to play this for you all before we go back to this deposition. But there were people who said Kamala Harris wouldn't have been any better, or that she was horrible because of Palestine, and it pissed me off. And I tend to be very vocal when I get pissed off. And I'm going to share with you what I said. All right. And here it is. So let me turn the volume up over here so everybody can hear this. Whoops, I didn't need to do that. Here we go. In addition to that, now that I've addressed Kamala Harris specific to Palestine, now I'm going to address the rest of the country. You got it? Here's what I know for sure. If Kamala Harris had won the 2024 election, we would not have had the military with their boots on the ground against U.S. citizens. That would not have happened. We would not have had corrupt ass members of the DOJ like Emil Bovee and Todd Blanche and Pamela Bondi telling immigration attorneys to tell a federal judge, fuck off, and illegally deport people to a prison, one of the worst prisons in the entire world. That shit would not have happened if Kamala Harris had won the election. If Kamala Harris had won the election, there would not have been the DOJ in the courts fighting to not feed your children, your grandparents, and the disabled. That would not have happened. If Kamala Harris had won the 2024 election, we would have a Department of Education, and we would not have an administration that is trying to withhold funding that's going to impact our rural schools and our most poor of communities. That would not have happened. If Kamala Harris had been elected the president of the United States, there would not be an attack on LGBTQIA and trans people. If Kamala Harris had been elected president of the United States, guess what? You would most likely still have your ACA subsidies and be able to purchase your damn health care. And 50,000 to 100,000 Americans every year wouldn't be about to damn die. Fuck off with your superior morality. Oh, I didn't vote for her because I don't give a good damn. Because your one sanctimonious position that you sat on cost millions of people harm. Millions of them, including Palestinians.
I gotta say this because I can't follow.
Kamala Harris had been elected the president of the United States.
Almost done.
Yesterday, there would not have been convicted violent criminals in the fucking Capitol, in the faces of the officers that they beat, that they drug, that they maced, that they put bear spray in their faces, that they trampled over, that they terrorized. And those same members of Congress talking shit, asking why isn't there a Republican here? That shit wouldn't have been happening. There wouldn't be members of Congress blaming the Capitol Police for the violent acts of criminals. That would not have happened if Kamala Harris had won the 2024 election.
There's more, apparently. I stopped to look at people.
That's as simple as I can make it. Do I expect that she would have been perfect? Fuck no. I know no such thing.
I don't know.
I know no such thing. I know no such candidate. What I know for certain is she would be vastly better than what we have here. She was ridiculously overqualified for the position.
I know, Sin.
And when you're not sitting back in your moral superiority and your virtue signaling self, when you haven't found your latest thing to rant and rave about, you know that. Real people understand that real solutions sometimes have to make difficult choices.
100%.
You don't get to save everybody all at once. We understand that. Real people understand that you don't solve the world's problems with one damn election. Y'all don't talk to the trolls. Let me say that again. You do not solve the world's problems with one presidential election.
Yeah, me having to get y'all together. Me having to get y'all together.
Here's what I do believe. I believe that if Dr. Mimi and Dr. Meg and some of the other individuals that have gone to Gaza, and Geraldine from the flotilla, I believe that if those people had requested an audience with the president, I believe she would have given it to them.
I do.
I do not believe that we would have allowed a 15-year-old American Palestinian boy to sit in an Israeli prison for 10 months.
Yep.
I do not believe that she would have ever sat in front of the American people and called affordability a fucking hoax. I do not believe that as the established prosecutor that she is, she would have not complied with the Epstein Transparency Act. I believe that we would have those files. I believe that she would be happily going after and prosecuting whoever needed to be prosecuted, because that's what she did as a prosecutor, as an AG, as a district attorney, right? I don't believe that I would have ever seen her sitting at a table flanked by fucking Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all of those assholes. That wouldn't have happened. If Kamala Harris had been elected the president, USAID would still be saving millions of lives, including Americans. USAID would have had been able to fulfill the contracts that they had with American farmers. That would have happened. American farmers would not be struggling and many of them going under because of untargeted, unregulated application of a tariffs where it makes sense.
No, Big John, I do not.
I don't believe that Kamala Harris would have ever had the Taliban at fucking Camp David, which he did in his first administration. I don't think that she would have accepted a $400 million damn jet from Qatar. I don't believe that that would be happening.
Almost done, people.
Oh, that's fantastic.
In addition to that,
So listen, when people talk to me about whatever her shortcomings are or what they might have been or what they speculated on, I'm not saying that none of those things wouldn't be accurate. What I do know for sure, where can you find that? It's on I just played it from my Facebook. I believe I posted it on my Substack as well. And I believe it's on my YouTube. Yeah.
Can I give you, Dani, a mammoth kudos on my send-off? Because I followed you and I'm going to be coming back to hear your lives.
Sure.
You brought me out of live purgatory because the content is so intelligent and provoking. So I'm just going to take a couple of minutes. Number one, what a remarkable assessment of where we have dropped to. All those things are 1,000% correct. But I want to say this really quick. We are witnessing a degree of evil, and I don't use that term lightly. And deception that is biblical. This is overt lying, cruelty, lies, falsifying, manipulation, corruption, and incompetency. One of the guys that was on the first Trump 1.0 DHS team, I think his name is Miles something, said the only question Donald Trump ever had was how much power he could get. That was it.
Yes.
This man has been made this way through 70 plus years of privilege, screwing people over, manipulating, lying, bankrupting companies multiple times.
Yep.
The only difference is, people, he's using our country now instead of Fred Trump. He is funding his activity. He's amassed over 1.something billion.
1.4.
1.4, as Dani said. You might say whatever you want about Kamala Harris, but I guarantee you none of this shit would be happening. None of it would be happening. And unlike the accusations that were waged against her about being over her head and not having a clue, the only difference, every politician has some degree of, I won't call it lying, of political maneuverability with the truth. All politicians possess that. The difference with this clown is he literally, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, he does not care about people.
No.
Especially poor people. So all you red voters that voted for this guy, he would step over your bodies to get out of a burning building. He really does not care about you or this country. I doubt he's read 100 words of the Constitution. So I want to just say, Dani, thank you. I will find you again, and I will get on it with your permission. And
100%.
What you're saying and what you're sharing is exactly 1,000% what people need to hear. And for God's sake, if there is another general election, do not stay at home because you don't like the opposition, the Democratic candidate. Vote.
When there is another general election, because I believe there will be.
Yes.
There will be.
I hope to God.
There will be.
God, because he's doing everything he can right now. And let me just say this. When he was going through the J6 stuff, his comment, it's public record, was it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. You fight, fight, fight.
100%.
And that's what third world shit guerrilla dictatorship countries do. Not the United States until this clown came along. Have a great, blessed day, my friend.
You too.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
you,
much.
Rent Man. Welcome.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, folks, listen, I am, somebody said set your notifications. Y'all know how we get down in this space, right? And I just believe there's too much at stake for us to not be talking about the things that matter. And what matters for me isn't Donald Trump. I don't care what dumbass thing he says today. Matter of fact, I wouldn't care what he ever says if he wasn't the president of the United States. The only thing I care about is what is the president of the United States doing and saying? What is the president of the United States participating in, right? That's what I'm most interested in. That's what I have the most issue with. And that is what I think all of us should be focused on. That's the thing that absolutely matters. So, and that's the part that I hope that you focus on, right? When we are in these conversations and we are live, let me make sure I found you guys again over here because I'm tooping around. Here's the thing. One of the things I said yesterday and the day before, and I'm going to keep saying it, is contact your Democratic members of Congress and ask them why aren't they co-sponsoring the articles of impeachment against Pete Hegseth? Why aren't they signed on and co-sponsoring the impeachment of RFK Jr.? Both of those articles of impeachment have been ready since December. Why haven't your Democratic representatives signed on and co-sponsored them? If I could give Congress a path to righting the ship, okay, this is what I would say. I would say begin with impeachment of Kristi Noem. Then I would move to the impeachment of RFK Jr. And then I would move to the impeachment of Pete Hegseth. And then I would move to the impeachment of Linda McMahon. Then I would move to the impeachment of Pam Bondi. And then I would move to the impeachment of, oh my gosh, I just read something and then it went, fuck my life. Hold on. I got to do them in order. I have an order for this. Okay. I have an order. Give me a second. Give me a second, y'all. I have an order. So the order has to be first, Noam. Second, RFK Jr. Third, Hegseth. Fourth, McMahon. Fifth, Bondi. Sixth, Patel. And I would do them in that order. Yes. And I'm going to tell you why Bondi before, this is why McMahon before Bondi. Let me tell you why. Listen, y'all, there's a reason. There's a reason. Just listen, you all, to what I'm telling you. Okay. There will be support for the impeachment and the removal of Kristi Noem. Peter Thiel is not part of the cabinet, y'all. For fuck's sake. Y'all gotta just listen. Listen. There will be enough support on both sides of the aisle from their constituents, if done properly, to impeach and remove Kristi Noem. Okay? Next, RFK Jr. Do you know why RFK Jr. is next? Does anybody know why I choose RFK Jr. next? They're all dangerous, Slim Shady. Because it's healthcare. Because it's healthcare. So you guys, when I do workshops, and I talk about politics, and I talk about organizing, and I talk about how we engage with each other, I believe there are 4 pillars of policy, and everything comes back to everything comes back to those 4 pillars of policy. The first one is healthcare. The second is education. The third is housing. And the fourth one is economic stability. That is also the reason McMahon comes before Bondi. Oh, hold on. And let me just throw Tulsi in here. Gabbard. I need her ass impeached and removed as well. Okay, so you go with Kristi Noem because right now she is what we see as the face of DHS. She's the head of the Gestapo that's running around in the streets of the country, right? Dragging pregnant people down the street and all of that. So you can get enough support from constituents to impeach and remove Kristi Noem. Next, you go after RFK Jr. Why? There are plenty of doctors, pediatricians, physicians, the entire fucking academy, American Academy of Pediatrics. There are so many people in the medical profession that are ready for him to be gone, including some of the Republican members of the Senate Confirmation Committee that put him in there. Yes, Fred, I did call them the Gestapo. And that's respectful. If I was being disrespectful, I'd call them motherfucking Gestapo. That was. Let me just be really clear. That was me being respectful. 100%. And by the way, I don't have to give respect to people who abuse people in the streets. I don't have to be respectful to people who drag people down the street, who terrorize children. I ask you to be respectful in this space when we are having a conversation. I don't have to give respect to people that are disrespectful to human beings. Fuck me. Miss me with that bullshit. Miss me with it all day. I'm not a human. Well, get your ass out of my unhuman life. How about that? Shit, that was respectful. So anyway, next. Anyway, RFK Jr. There are. So do you all remember when the former director of the CDC was testifying before Congress? And Cassidy was asking very specifically about vaccinations and about hepatitis B. And he was very concerned because he's a liver doctor, right? I can tell you right now that there are many people that are in the medical profession, in the medical field, and that are Republicans that see what's happening in, for example, South Carolina with the insanely alarming numbers of children with measles. That number is it's over 200 now, people that are being quarantined with a disease that is completely preventable, right? So that's why I say RFK Jr. should be next. Pete Hegseth after that. And that's before we even get to the signal chat and whatever. We can go to Venezuela. We can go to the don't leave anybody alive, all of that. Okay. McMahon, because people give a damn about education and children. McMahon, because people give a damn about education and children. And if it's done properly, you can unite people on any side of the aisle and get the support to impeach and remove Linda McMahon. And that's before you even get into the WWE allegations of child abuse and all of that stuff. Because y'all know there's a whole ass court case around that. There's a whole ass court case out there about WWE and their little ring boys. If you don't know about that, go have fun going down that rabbit hole today. Okay? And then you go to Bondi. And then when you go to Bondi, you also go to Emil Bovee, because, by the way, impeachment also applies to federal judges. Alaikum salam, Muhammad OS. Did you hear me, y'all? Impeachment also applies to judges. So Emil Bovee, who literally committed treason, in my honest opinion, when he gave attorneys in the DOJ instructions to disobey the judge's orders, impeach and remove his ass too. Right? And then that's when you go to Patel, and then you go to Gabbard. And let me tell you why I believe you do at least the first 4 of these before the midterms. Because when you do these 4 before the midterms, it applies pressure on the members of the Republican Party that are up for re-election this year to see where they fall on these issues. It gives you plenty of content. It gives you plenty of talking points. It gives you ammunition, not literal ammunition, right? But it gives you ammunition to be able to use to show they are not fulfilling their jobs. And then once you do those top 4, then you can bring in the biggest domino of them all. And then that is when you can impeach Trump. And that is when you can have him removed. And you need to have that done before the 2-year mark. So after the midterms, when the Democrats have the majority again, then that's when you impeach and remove Trump before he hits the 2-year mark next January. Because if you impeach and remove him before he hits that 2-year mark, J.D. Vance cannot finish that term and then run for 2 more. So I'm literally giving you the playbook. And at the same time, it applies pressure because by the time, once you impeach and remove these folks, and then the Democratic Party now has the majority in Congress, whoever they put forward to be confirmed on the next committee doesn't have a shoe-in, because now there is no Republican majority in the confirmation hearings. This is the path. And if people are smart, and when I say people, I mean the Democratic people in Congress, right? When you go after the impeachment of Nome, this is what I would be doing. Okay. If I were heading up the Democratic Party, which I'm not, because I'm not even a registered member of the Democratic Party. But if I were, here's what I would be saying to the Democratic Party. I would be saying, when we talk about the articles of impeachment on Kristi Noem, here's what you need to do. You need to go into the districts of every single one of those Republicans who aren't on board with impeaching and removing Kristi Noem. You go and you get the numbers for their district. You find out how many people in those red Republican districts have been picked up when they went to their immigration hearings. You find out how many of them have been detained. You have how valid a path is that? What do you mean by valid? Wave one. What do you mean? But then you go and you find out the numbers in those Republican districts. Find out how many people have been hauled in, have been illegally detained, have been stopped, how many schools, how many courthouses, how many churches, and you get those numbers. And then if you're smart, you get the names of those people. And you go talk to those Republicans' constituents. I don't belong to a party, Jimmy. Then you go talk to those constituents. And when you run your ad is a constituent of a Republican member of Congress talking about their experience of ICE and what happened to them. And then that's how you apply the pressure for that Republican member of Congress to fucking impeach and remove Kristi Noem. That's what you do. The tripping points are this. The tripping points are simply promoting it as a Democrat agenda. The tripping points are not doing your homework and getting the numbers when it comes to Republican constituents or the constituents of Republican people in office, right? That's part of it. Those are the tripping points. It's not just how you do it, but it's how it's executed. Do you want to know one of the reasons the Heritage Foundation is so successful? So the Heritage Foundation has literally begun to get the government to participate in their Project Esther. South Carolina's Attorney General has now requested the financial records of non-governmental organizations, nonprofits, because they say they are quote unquote Hamas support networks. That's directly from Project Esther's playbook. It's directly from it. But do you know what happens? Is when you know that. So if you go and you read Project Esther, do you know what the Heritage Foundation lays out? They lay out what are the risks if we do this? What are the risks if we do this? Are they maximized? Are they minimized? How big is the risk? And how much can we get done before the risk becomes too big? Like that's what they do. They plan. What did Roger Stone say? Plan the work and work the plan. That's a direct quote from Roger Stone, you guys. Plan the work and work the plan. That's what the fuck they do. Meanwhile, Democrats just doing a damn kumbaya circle going, look at them, they're so horrible. That does not help. Listen, nobody needs you to regurgitate or to articulate what we see them doing with our own eyes. What we need are solutions and actions for today. I don't see not a NAIR member having a productive, organized strategy handling it all. This is the strategy. And do you know what I would be doing if I were leading the Democratic Party, which I'm not? I would be working out this strategy for the executive branch. I'd be working out a strategy for the legislative branch. And I'd be working out a strategy for the judicial branch. I don't know what you mean. What do I do in this platform? So just saying, folks, What can they do for the judicial branch? Because Congress has the ability to impeach and remove federal judges. Congress has the ability to do that. If Congress were doing their job, they could have impeached and removed Eileen Cannon. I'm just saying. What do I speak on? A lot of what I talk about are U.S. politics, global politics, social justice, humanitarian issues, all of that. That's what I do. A lot of accurate information, fact-based information, strategies, techniques, all of those. So I just have to say, I just saw somebody join this live, and I'm only going to say this one thing. For the page that just joined my live, the official page that just joined, my granddaughters still have the flowers you gave them. And the youngest one got on the couch last night. She saw me on Facebook and she said, Tutu, I want to see them again. I just want you all to know my granddaughters are still talking about you. The flowers are on the counter. So thank you. All right. So when we talk about how we move forward and what the strategy looks like, this is what we have to plan, and we have to start having the conversations. So yesterday, if you weren't in here yesterday, we had a really intense conversation around. Yeah, they just joined. I saw a little notification because it asked me to invite them to co-host, which I never do that. And the reason I don't is because sometimes I like to go into other spaces and I don't want to necessarily co-host. So I don't request them to come up unless they desire to. Okay. But let me finish talking about this. Okay. So when we understand, Cheryl, I mean, the DOJ and the DHS are absolutely part of the executive branch. They should be. The thing is that they're not subject to the executive branch. And that's the difference, right? The DOJ and DHS is part of the administration. You can't pull them out. They're not different, right? Here's what I will agree with. I do agree that there needs to be a separate mechanism, right, by which we are able to hold the DOJ to account, which we do, to be honest. The mechanism is Congress. The problem is that our checks and balances aren't working right now. That's the challenge, because the DOJ, they are independent. The DOJ is independent when it is operating with integrity and according to the oath that they took. No, the DOJ, there's no fourth branch. The DOJ is part of the judicial branch and the executive branch. They work together. The problem right now, folks, is Congress. The biggest issue that we have in the United States of America right now is not Donald Trump. The biggest issue that we have right now is Congress and the GOP members of Congress that have bowed the knee to this administration. They are the problems. If Congress was working with integrity, living up to the oaths that they took, the executive branch would not be getting away with what it does. And this is why Mike Johnson must go. This is why Lindsey Graham must go. This is why Mitch McConnell must go. This is why so many of them must go. And it's not that they must go because they're Republicans. Because let me tell you right now, I would happily take John McCain. Give me John McCain in this Congress right now. I will take that Republican all day. I will. Why? Because he had integrity. Why? Because he refused to take away health care from Americans. Why? Because he refused to use the Southern strategy in his rallies. When a woman stood up at a John McCain rally and started to talk about Barack Obama and where he was born, John McCain said, no, 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 no. We're not doing that. No, ma'am. Give me John McCain right now. I do not have to agree with all of his policies, but I will take his integrity all day right now. All day. Matter of fact, I will even take a Kevin McCarthy right now. I will even take a Kevin McCarthy because at least he wasn't down for a total all insurrection, and he was okay saying, all right, I'm out of here because I'm not shutting down an investigation into Matt Gaetz. Which, by the way, if you have not read the report on Matt Gaetz that came from Congress, you might want to have a read. Here, I'm just going to give you the highlights, okay? Can I just give you the highlights real quick? Because there's a part that you need. So this is the committee's report. I downloaded it from Congress. And when you do the report, the report was released December 23rd, 2024. And when you read it, it gives you like an overview and it gives you a summary. So on page 7, this is the summary. Are you ready? Here's the summary. The committee has typically not released its findings after losing jurisdiction in a matter. In other words, after he was suggested to become the attorney general and then after that nomination was withdrawn, right? Here's what he says. However, the committee says, however, there are a few prior instances where the committee has determined that it was in the public interest to release its findings even after a member has resigned from Congress. The committee does not do so lightly. In this instance, although several committee members objected, a majority of the members of the committee agreed that the committee's findings should be released to the public. And here's the findings. In sum, the committee found substantial evidence of the following. Number 1, from at least 2017 to 2020, Representative Gaetz regularly paid women for engaging in sexual activity with him. Now, let me just say this. I give a good damn about that. I don't care. If the only way Matt Gaetz can get some is to pay for it, pay for it. If that's it's the oldest profession we know of, right? I don't care if he paid for that. I don't care. That's not relevant to me. Okay. So point 1, I hear you and I don't care. Okay. Point 2, in 2017, Representative Gaetz engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old girl. That one I care about. That one I care about. The first one, they didn't have to put that shit in there for me because sex work is work. But the second one, I care about. I care about Congress, the committee, saying we found substantial evidence that number 2, in 2017, Representative Matt Gaetz engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old girl. Point 3, during the period 2017 to 2019, Representative Gaetz used or possessed illegal party favors, including booger sugar and E on multiple occasions. Now that I care about. Why? Because you were in Congress. I care about you partaking in things while making laws that put other people that partake in them in jail. Care about that. Point 4, the committee found substantial evidence that Representative Gaetz accepted gifts, including transportation and lodging, in connection with a 2018 trip to the Bahamas in excess of permissible amounts. In 2018, Representative Gaetz arranged for his chief of staff to assist a woman with whom he engaged in sexual activity in obtaining a passport falsely indicating to the U.S. Department of State she was his constituent. Now, here's my thing about that. All that means is one of a girl that he knew who was not his constituent said, "Can you help me get a passport?" And he said to his chief of staff, "Help her ass get a passport, even though she's not my constituent." That shit happens all the time. I don't really care about that one either. Representative Gates knowingly and willfully sought to impede and obstruct the committee's investigation of his conduct. I care about that one. And the final one is Representative Gates has acted in a manner that reflects discreditably upon the House. Cool. So it says, based on the above, the committee concluded there was substantial evidence that Representative Gates violated House rules, state and federal laws, and other standards of conduct prohibiting prostitution, statutory rape, illicit party favor use, and the acceptance of impermissible gifts. So here's what I want to know. If this report came out over a year ago and they found substantial evidence that he violated state and federal laws, why the fuck is nobody prosecuting Matt Gaetz on a state or a federal level? And tell me why the media just like acted like this shit never happened. Because the media is too busy telling you when Trump fell asleep, if he farted, and if he might be wearing a diaper to talk to you about shit that actually matters. Because if you take this report from the committee and you combine it with Kevin McCarthy saying openly and publicly that the reason he was ousted from being the Speaker of the House is because they wanted him to shut down this investigation, it fucking matters. It matters that the Republican Party was willing to get rid of the Speaker of the House to protect A3PDO. And when you understand that, you know why the fuck the Epstein files are still not out. This is not difficult. And this is not partisan. Show me a report from Congress that says a Democratic lawmaker engaged in the same behavior, and I will say the same thing about those people. So very quickly, here's what I need. I need a bio break because I've been chugging my water. So if I could give a moderator to give me a quick break for just a second, I will be right back. Appreciate you, Lisa.
Hello. Hello, beautiful people of TikTok and YouTube. Dani's on YouTube today. I just came in, but Dani always gives the greatest information. If you are in the chat, please tap, double tap on that screen. We are at 441,000 and counting. You guys are doing a great job. Hi, Sin. Hi, Mama Dukes. Hello. Hi, Sandy. Ambassador Sandy in the house. I saw Kim in here. Hi, Mama CF, Cheryl, Pamela. Hi, everybody. Yeah, thanks everybody who came to our live last night. It was amazing. We got some new people into our Danikins universe. Thanks so much for the gifts, guys. Love you so much. Hey, Conchita, Farah. Yeah, we got a couple of new recruits, I think, right? Okay, Julian. But nice to meet you too, Stephanie. W, back to you, Queen. Hi, everybody. Yeah, last night's live was great. So if you have not already, please hit the heart next to Dani's name. Make sure you send your heart me. It only costs us 1 penny. Do all the things. Send a comment if you haven't. Love you too, Mo. Send a comment, all the stuff. Hi, Carla. Hi, Marky. Hi, everyone. Send a comment, do all the things, and then make sure you go back and you collect your points because that's important. Dani gets credit when you go back and collect your points, not just when you do the things. And she is back.
I'm back. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sis. Appreciate you. All right. So listen, I want to go back to the January 6th transcripts. Okay. Here are the things that, hella, Raja. So let me just say this. I have 12 minutes before I start to open up my panel. You touch the heart again, Trisha. So you touch the heart again, and then it'll say that you have claim your points. It'll be like a little red thing that says claim. Okay. Whoops, hold on. I was trying to scroll. Okay. All right. So, I am all about organizing and people taking action and doing things, right? And so one of the things that I will share with you, appreciate you, I'm not sure, is that, so this little road to impeachment for all of these folks, and including Trump. So here's the goal. The goal is to have Donald Trump impeached and removed after at least 2, preferably 4 members of his cabinet have also been impeached and removed. And his impeachment, we want to be able to take place between November and December of 2026. Okay? Impeachment and removal between November and December of 2026, prior to his 2-year anniversary in office as president. Because when he is impeached prior to that 2-year anniversary, JD Vance is no longer allowed to serve the remaining 2 years and then run for office for 2 more terms. Yeah, so I laid it out again, and I laid it out before, and I'm going to lay it out again. So the order that I believe impeachment and removal can happen is Noam first, second, RFK Jr., third, Pete Hegseth, fourth, Linda McMahon. And I picked those 4 people for a very specific reason. Kristi Noem, ICE is at the height of awareness in the country right now, right? And well, Rocky, you must not be fucking listening. Okay, so join the panel, Rocky, and I'll walk you through it. Yes, Mom, I can. So this is the way that it works. You first do the impeachment of Kristi Noem. And as you prepare for that impeachment, I would have, yes, you're going to have the Renee Nicole Goods, all of that. You're going to have that, right? And what I would recommend is going and getting constituents. I would go and get constituents of Republican members of Congress who have been detained by ICE, who have been abused by ICE, who have been assaulted by ICE, who have been illegally detained. I would be going to get people with their names and all of that, like of specifically though, of folks in red districts and red states. Got it? Because that is going to be, yeah, Maribel, that list, that's the point. The list that's the point. So I would be looking at the members of Congress, the Republican members of Congress that are so supportive of ICE publicly, that do not want to impeach and remove Kristi Noem. I would be going to their districts. 100%. I would be sitting down and talking with those people. I would be getting video interviews with those people. I would ask those people for doctor's testimony or doctor's evidence of medical records about the injuries that they suffered. That's what I would be doing. And in preparation for that impeachment, I would have Republican members of the United States, constituents of Republican members of Congress, right? To build that case, because that applies pressure. This is a fucking election year, you guys. Are you good with this happening to your constituents? I mean, I know you said you're good with it happening to illegal aliens. Are you good with it happening to your constituents? Because Kristi Noem is. She said your impeachment is laughable. She said Congress ain't going to do shit about what I'm doing. So are you? Does Kristi Noem handle you? Right? She sure did. Right? So then RFK Jr., I would be going and talking to people in South Carolina and North Carolina where measles cases are going through the roof. I would be going and talking to pediatricians. I would be getting members from the American Academy of Pediatrics who are diligently and daily posting about the changes to vaccinations and why they're dangerous for people. I would be going to find, unfortunately, Chris Jackson, you got one opportunity to come join my panel before you get muted and booted. Not because you disagree with me, but because I bet you will not come to the panel and have a real conversation with me. So you said lies. You come tell me where I lied. Let's go, Chris. Choppity chop. We ain't got all damn day. Okay, you decline my offer. I decline your presence. Bye. Now you're no longer here. This is the way it works, folks. You can disagree with me all day. You can say, oh, Dani, what you're saying isn't true. Cool. And then I'm going to ask you to come up to this panel, and then we're going to have a fact-based discussion on it. And when I find that you're full of shit and you're not willing to stand up with what you're saying and put your face and your fucking voice behind it, then I'm going to mute you and boot you. You hit the little arrow down at the bottom. That's the share link, and you can copy it and share it from there. I don't care if you disagree with me, but we're going to talk about the facts, right? That's what we're going to do. So again, between now and the end of October, you impeach and remove at least 2, preferably 4 members of this cabinet. Noem, RFK Jr., Hegseth, and McMahon. And there's a way to do all 4 of those effectively. And then once you do that, once you win 2 of those, once you successfully get 2 of them removed, then you move on to impeaching and removing Trump. And you want that done before the end of 2026. Before he reaches the 2-year mark, so that J.D. Vance does not get to serve the remaining 2 years plus 2 more terms and run for them. Got it? That's the strategy, folks. And at the same time that these things happen, the next strategy is primarying every damn person in Congress. You primary everybody. And then you leave no seat uncontested. Yeah, no, Lanny, there's no quick exit. And I want people to stop thinking that there is. Do you hear me? Stop thinking that there's a quick fix. We did not get here quickly. We got here in a fucking crock pot. They slow cooked our ass right to this moment. There's no quick fix to this. But guess what? Listen, y'all, this is the problem. This is the problem. Democrats, liberals, everybody talking about, what's the fastest way to fix it? These fools, they have not been looking for the fastest way to do shit. They have been playing the long game. Do y'all want me to tell you what Roger Stone said? Roger Stone said, everything is fluid. It's moves and counter moves. It's moves and counter moves.
Danny, last night somebody asked me, like, if the Venezuela thing, Trump using taxpayer dollars, the American military, FBI to go to Venezuela to pretty much steal their oil and put that money into an offshore bank account, if that rises to impeachment, I said, absolutely. Absolutely, it rises to high crimes and misdemeanors. And then they were like, well, can he even be prosecuted even if he's impeached? Since he's got immunity. I said he's got presumptive immunity.
For official acts.
Yeah, for official acts, right? Presumptive. So it's like innocent until proven guilty. So, and I was like, and the thing is that there is 2 words that I am going to tell you that is all you need to know about how to prosecute Donald Trump. And that is Jack Smith. Because Jack Smith created the framework to prosecute any president now for official acts, whether they try to claim official acts or not, because what Donald Trump did in Venezuela, what could be proven that it was all for his own personal interest, because once he got the money, he put it in a personal offshore account. Yep. Right. So the framework is the same framework as there for January 6th, where he lied and did all these, machinations. In furtherance of his crime, and I walked them all through it. So, guys, Donald Trump does not have absolute immunity. He cannot do whatever he wants. A lot of people think that it's a misconception.
But I'm going to tell you who knows he doesn't. Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you who else knows he doesn't. Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon said, "Shit, if we don't win the midterms, and if we don't win in 2028, we all going to jail, including me." Them jokers know they don't have it. They know it. All right. So again, yep, I got you, Cindy. So a couple of things are about to take place, people, just so you know. Okay. It is 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means I'm about to open up my panel. When I open up my panel, you're going to see every other person on my panel is going to be someone that is between the river and the sea. Okay. That is going to be someone who lives between the river and the sea and has been subject to 2+ years of a G-side and is under a fake peace ceasefire. And I say fake because that shit is fake. When you have over 450 people still be killed after a ceasefire is in place, it's not a ceasefire. Top of the day, Chris Matthews, right? So let's just be clear. There's no damn ceasefire. So what does that mean? If you are on the tick of the talk and you have magic beans that you would like to give to them to help them out because they transfer it and put it into crypto so they can, do day-to-day things, then do that. If you are not on TikTok and you would still like to help the people that are between the river and the sea, go to my link tree. There's an entire collection of links to support those folks in that area. Okay. So that's what I'm going to tell you. So let me just go ahead and start to take care of this. What I would ask, holy Jesus, look at this dang on thing. Before I do that, dear God, I might regret this. Hashman, do me a favor and put yourself on mute when I bring you up until I get to you. Folks, when I bring you up, put yourself on mute until I get to you. Okay? Pretty please. My folks in the States that I'm bringing up, I'm going to bring you up as a placeholder.
Choose the runt because she wasn't paying.
I got to mute her. I got it. She didn't know I brought her up that quick. So guys, if any of my mods are down there that can help me, I brought up Mohammed OS, but it didn't hold. It didn't take. I don't know why that's happening, but it did not. So I'm going to try to, hold on. I'm fixing this on the panel real quick, you guys. Which I got you as a placeholder. Mel Gray, I got you as a placeholder.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Let me see. 1, 2. Okay,
How
I
are
got
you?
6. I am well. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I got 3 happening at the time. I know. No worries, Phantom. Okay, so folks, every other box is going to be someone that's between the river and the sea. Okay, so starting at the top, river and the sea, river and the sea, river and the sea. Very briefly. As you can see, mother,
He's mama.
mothered, little ones, the whole 9, right?
Yeah.
Ahmed Darari has a link in his profile. He is actually a teacher at a school in Gaza. And he has a direct way for you to support. And they do need assistance because they are charging for school in a tent $800 a month in rent. For a school in a tent, that's what they're charging. So anything that you can do, greatly appreciated. And then I got Mo down here. We also call him the brothers. He also has a link in my link tree. These two do as well. But yeah, so this is the time where if you are like, oh my God, I see all these things, horrible things that are happening around the world. What can I do? This is your opportunity to do even a small thing, right? So what may be small to you, what might be, $10 in TikTok coins might be small to you, could be like incredibly important for them. So I do this time so that everyone has an opportunity to help out. We would love to have everybody hit at least 2K. That's the goal in Magic Beans. Okay. Now, while I do that, because I do have a hard stop today, I have to get my grandbabies off the bus. Okay. So this is a hard stop day for me. I don't get to spend 8 hours with you today like I did yesterday. I love that purse mouth. Ahmed Darari, who you followed, has great videos on his profile of the kids in school as they're role playing and learning English and all of that. So yeah, go check them out. I tend to share them and repost them, and I also have them on my page. Appreciate you, Sandy. So I want to take just a minute, if this is okay with everybody, and can I switch gears to also provide you, Raja was in here. I suspect he'll be back in a moment. I want to take just a second to give you guys some information. So how many of you all are not certain as to how we got to where we are in Palestine and the role of the United States? Yeah, Beach Bum Wannabe, they're asking for me to do a Sunday night one. And I need to see, because depending upon what this snowstorm looks like for us, whether or not we have power will be kind of, determinative about what we're able to do and what we're not able to do. Okay. Love that. I love that you followed Mo too. Okay. So listen, how many of you all, if you could do me a favor, put a 1 in the comments. I'm going to name a couple of documents. Okay. I'm going to name a couple of documents, and I want you to let me know if you're familiar with them or not. Actually, if you're not, if you are not familiar with the Balfour Declaration, please put a 1 in the comments. If you are not familiar with the Balfour Declaration, please put a 1 in the comments. Great. This is what I need to see. Love that. Okay. Got you. Hella, Raja. I'm coming, Raj. There's a lot of you all. What about over here on the Book of Faces, the Sub of Stack, and the Tube of You? Okay, a lot of you are not. All right. So I want to pull up a couple of documents for you. So how many of you all? Okay, so the Balfour Declaration was in 1917. Okay, and this is what I want to let you know. Sammy, you just rejoined. You were in here and then you left and then you came back. When you left, I opened the panel up and now you're back. So you're going to have to wait your turn. Like, I hear you, but I'm just saying. Yeah. So which I need to bring up another placeholder though, before I do, Raja, or I need to get Miriam to 2K. If Miriam gets to 2K, then we can replace Miriam with Raja. And that works for me. All right. So listen, so I want you all to understand something. So around the world, we had a global war happening. Okay. Appreciate it. And we did not, and so during that, when that was taking place, there was a Balfour Declaration. And here was the conversation, if you're ready, okay? The conversation was,
Hella, Dani.
hella, Raja.
Hella, Dani.
So for those of you all who are listening, hella is like seeing your friend and being like, yo. That's what hella is like, okay? If you were just going to say hi, you'd say marhaba. Yeah, miss you. So that's the difference. Marhaba is like saying hello. And then saying hella is like yo, like it's more of a friendly greeting. Hey, Michelle Jackson, good to see you. Okay, so so that's our friend Raja. Koyis, alhamdulillah. Yeah, he's good. So and Keith Halleck is how you ask people how they're doing. And almost every time you ask someone in Palestine or in Gaza, if you say Keith Halleck, they're going to say alhamdulillah, because they always say that, right? They always do. Salam Amouni. Happy belated birthday, friend. All right, so let me go over a timeline. This is information that I want you to know, and it ties into American politics, okay? So we have been talking about American politics. We have been talking about how we go into midterms and what we need to be doing. This is part of it, all right? So we just finished including more funding that included offensive weapons for Israel as well. How many of you all know that? That the United States of America just again, appreciate you, Carrie. Fuck yeah, go all out. I'm here for it. Show out, show off. You know what I'm gonna start doing? Hold on. This is what I'm gonna start doing when one of you guys comes through with one of those big TikTok coins. I'm gonna start doing this. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna start doing this every single time. Because y'all know in the chat they do let me see if this is it. Let me turn it down though. Nope, that ain't it. Okay. Dang. Hold on. I'm going to find it. I can't not do it now because it's in my soul to do. Appreciate those, Sandy. So let me see. There it is. Okay, we going. Y'all ready? Y'all ready right here? This is gonna be my new to do. Whenever somebody does badass magic beans like that, y'all know this song? It's called "Shine a Light on Them." Y'all don't know nothing about this. Hey, shine a light on them. That's what it is. You love this song? See, the light's on Sandy right now. This is normally what they do when you have a birthday party, y'all, and it's the birthday person's party. They get in the middle.
Somebody shine a light on them.
You shine a light on them. Shine a light on them.
Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them.
Okay, so listen. So I want to run through some numbers just so you all know. This matters. And this is when I say that we need to start holding absolutely everybody accountable on the things that they do. When I had a face-to-face conversation with Senator Tim Kaine. Salam Bilal. about weaponry to Israel. Ahmed dropped. I got it. No worries. Da 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 da. I did have a face-to-face conversation with Tim Kaine. He was uncomfortable, which made me very, very comfortable. Do I have all, okay, so listen, top 2 boxes are River to the Sea. One box from the bottom. Alaikum salam. Yeah, he was very uncomfortable. I could show you guys pictures. Not you, still in hella. Okay, so for those of you guys who do not know, at the very top, so the first 2 boxes, these gentlemen are also members. Miss you, Muhammad OS. Appreciate you, Sandy. So listen, you guys, the first 2 boxes, they were also Palestinian Press. The box that is at the very top, that is our friend Muhammad OS. His wife just gave birth to twins about 10 days, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, just about. And he also has a toddler who pretty much the G side is all he knows. So ways that you can assist are, of course, the TikTok beans. Also, the links are in my link tree. All right, so here we go. Let me talk. I'm going to give people some information, okay? So y'all just sit up there and collect your beans for a minute, okay? And if I've got Cam, Lisa, or anybody else, once Mo's timer runs out, we can switch it out. So people that I know for sure, well, y'all already know. I don't need to tell y'all. Y'all know how to do it, but we're going to talk about it. Okay. So, because I haven't had Bilal up in a minute either. Okay. But follow me. I want to give you guys information. Thank you, Cam. All right. So y'all are absolutely crushing it too. So I appreciate it. But yeah, if we can have Bilal come up. Okay. So listen, I need to tell you all this. So one of the frustrations that I have with what the country is doing right now, with what the United States of America is doing and what Trump is doing with this board of peace. Number one, it's not a board of peace. It's not a board of peace. It is a board of let's try to get rid of NATO. In my opinion, it is a board of let's get rid of NATO and build something different. And hey, Bilal.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, friend.
How are you, sister? How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Wallah, alhamdulillah. I am so happy. When I am see you, I am feeling so happy. Wallah.
We are very happy when we see you as well. So appreciate you. Go ahead, Sandy.
Hey, Dani. Hey, y'all.
What's up? Hey, Money, this for you, y'all. Hey, Money's birthday was 2 days ago. Y'all ready?
It's my birthday week.
Shout loud on her. Okay, I'm done. But listen, so I'm going to run you all through some things that are really, really important. Okay. There's my friend's face.
Thank you, Lisa. I wanted to say that you're wrong. It is Board of Peace, but not PEACE. It's PIECE.
A piece of Gaza, a piece of Palestine.
No, they want a piece of everything, girl. The whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Elon said at Davos. They want to. It made me sick because he's part of it, right? Like he's going to benefit too.
Yeah.
And it was like he was bragging and saying the quiet part out loud. He's like a little piece of Venezuela, a little piece of Greenland.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. But so I want you all to understand something. If you all don't know how we got here. So one of the problems, and I just believe in calling a thing, if y'all haven't caught on to that yet. So I'm going to tell you one of the issues that I have with everything that's happening with regard to Palestine right now. This is where white Western worlds want to dictate the future of Palestine as if these brown people do not deserve their own autonomy, as if they don't have a right to have a say as to what's happening in the future. And this is what's been the case. So during WW1, I got to think about what year I'm talking about. 1917, we are at a place where it looks like the Allied powers are going to win this thing, right? And at the time, Palestine is under the Ottoman Empire, okay? And there's a discussion about who's going to have what, right? As this thing gets down, what are we going to do with the regions and the countries that belong to the
what in the hell is this doing? That belong to the quote unquote losing nations, right? What do we do for the people that it belongs to? They belong to the losing nations. And so part of that, let me see if it'll let me do.
I don't know if y'all saw this new Gaza plan that they have going on, by the way. And this was like done before, by the way. I should bring you a clip of Netanyahu. I think I should send you a clip of Netanyahu and what he said before any of this.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Okay, I'm gonna really do my best right now, folks. And some people are gonna be pissed, and it's gonna be okay that they get pissed. Brandy, I didn't mean to get you, boo. Sorry. It changed right before I hit a button. That's what I did. It changed right before. All right. So listen, because I have a hard stop. I got 40 minutes. So I need to lay out a timeline of education for people. Okay. Can y'all please hear me? And because if you're not familiar, I want you to be familiar. What? TikTok got crazy shit going on now. I just want you to act right. Okay. All right. So listen. Hey, Osama. That's our little toddler baby down there. He's always tired. He said, it's 8 o'clock at night. I want to go to sleep. Hey, Wadney. Where'd you go?
Hi, Osama. Hi.
Into Galaby, Osama. Into Galaby. He's tired. He don't feel good.
Okay, girl.
Into Galaby. Yeah. Shut up. I've known that one for a while. They cracking up. I'm learning a little bit of Palestinian Arabic, and then she said, "Okay, into Gelbi." That means you have my heart. By the way, that's what it means.
Dani, no, is that you have my heart?
Shukran. Yeah, shukran. Yeah, shukran, Mohammed West. You are my heart. Yeah, you have my heart. You are my heart. Yeah. Into Gelbi Osama, he's so beautiful. He hates it though. Listen, sometimes money Mohammed puts him up there, and he's down for it. And he'll be like, hi, Dani, right? And other times he look right now. Like, if you don't put me down and let me go to bed, he'd be so done. Okay, but so I want to give you all a timeline, and I want you all to understand what transpired, okay? I want you all to understand that this Balfour Declaration happened. And basically what happened is the British decided, well, here's what we're going to do, right? We are going to tell the Zionist Federation, and I'm using that word not because it's my word. That's literally the word in the document, in the Balfour Declaration. That's the document. And for you guys over here, I'm going to pull it up so you can see it. Oof. Not me saying oof, but yes, me saying oof. Find Balfour. There it is. Okay. So on this side of the world, not TikTok, but on this side, I am showing you a document. Are you guys ready? This is the PDF. So this is what it says. This letter to Lord Rothschild, which was by the British Foreign Secretary, Arthur James Balfour, was aimed at the Jewish support for the Allies in the First World War. And so here's what it says. It's November 2nd, 1917. What's up, Adam? Good to see you. Good afternoon, Dizzy. And it says, Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations. Now, I want you all to hear the difference. He didn't just say with Jewish aspirations. He said Jewish Zionist aspirations. And that's the difference. Zionism is different than Judaism. They are not the same thing, and they must not be confused. But he says, listen, you guys submitted these Jewish Zionist aspirations, and the cabinet has approved them, right? And he says, His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object. Now, I want to pause right there. Things that are important about this document. Number one,
He said, where did he say that the Jewish Zionists could establish a home? Where did he say they could establish it? In where? Put it in the chat. Where did he say they could establish a home? I need y'all to participate, damn it. Because I want to make sure y'all with me.
Sorry, what was the question?
Connie, exactly, in Palestine. So when you meet dumbass people or bigots or Zionists or ignorant members of Congress who say Palestine doesn't exist or Palestine has never existed, I refer you to this document in 1917 when literally the Balfour Declaration, they say, oh shit, well, guess what? You can establish this national home for Jewish people in Palestine. So they're telling them they can put it in a place that some of y'all are dumb enough to say doesn't exist. It does exist, has always existed. You can go back to the mention of Palestine, right? Maybe spelled differently than you're used to seeing it. Long, way, way back. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to me. So listen, folks, the box that I just brought up, bottom right-hand box, I'm bringing this box up, not because he's a member of the Palestinian press, but because he has a significant health issue. And he needs to be out of Gaza to get treatment. And they've been trying to work with the World Health Organization to get him the assistance that he needs. So anything that you do, whether it is through Magic Beans on TikTok or whether you go to his profile and assist, it is greatly appreciated. Okay. And listen, and me and this joker, we had a run in at one point in time. Alaikum salam, Allah shak shak. On the other side of A Money.
Yeah, they have beef.
We did. But do you know what happened? Here's real talk, because I don't like it when people talk to me fucking sideways. Period. And I felt like I got talked to sideways. So, but here's what happened. I saw another video that someone else posted about his medical condition, about his heart. And about, I already know he's a granddaddy. I think he has like 6 grandkids. I already know he's a dad. I already knew that about him, right? But after I saw that video, I went and I watched another one, and I found out they were trying to get him medical assistance outside of Gaza. So at that point, it don't matter if you came at me sideways or whatever. If I have a platform in which I can help assist you with life-saving medical care, then guess what you get to do? You get to come up on the platform. And so since that time, he's been up here. I want to say this is like his 3rd time since that transpired. So it, like, nothing else matters at the end of the day. We don't let like whatever get in the way of what we need to do for people, because people matter. All people matter. And so that's why he's up here. So just to run it down for you again.
People matter, but you still shouldn't come at people sideways.
Right. 100%. And if it wasn't life-saving care, you'd probably still on the sidelines. That's what would be happening. That's what would be happening, right? But on the right side of A Money, that is somebody that has significant health issues, needs to get out of Gaza in order to save their life. It's just that simple. It literally is that simple. And as you all know, there are lots of people in Palestine and in Gaza that need things, and they have medical conditions. And we're going to do our best in the next 40 minutes to assist as many people as we can. And the goal will be $2,000 each. That's what we're going to try to facilitate happening. Also, I'm going to let you know when I know of extenuating circumstances, I'm going to share those with you. Okay. And that's going to be his health condition, Allah shak shak. That is going to be Bilal, because he is a Palestinian member of the press who also has beautiful babies, who at one point had lost, good God, 40 pounds during the G-side. And who is all the time traveling and trying to get the message out about what's happening. I believe 2 or 3 days ago, we lost 3 more journalists in Palestine in one action by Israel. I don't know how many of you all know that or not, but we did. We lost 3 other journalists the other day. And so just keep in mind, Just because the mainstream media isn't talking about it doesn't mean that it's not happening, and that we don't need to be keeping all eyes on Palestine and on Gaza, because we do. And when I say all eyes, it doesn't mean that's the only place I want you to look. I need you to look at a couple of different places. I need you to be looking in the United States of America. I need you to be looking in Gaza and in the West Bank. And I need you to be looking at Venezuela. And I need you to be looking at Greenland. And I need you to be looking at NATO and at the UN.
Dani.
Huh?
They're all connected one way or another.
They are all absolutely connected. And so that is why you've got to move that head around in order to be paying attention to everything that's going on. And it can be a lot. So what I'm going to need you to do is to be able to put your tools in place to decompress. When I get done being live, y'all, I'm not on TikTok. I'm not out here in these TikTok streets. The vast majority of the time when I'm done. I got to check out because I need a balance. And that means I'm going to be listening to music. I'm going to be playing with my grandbabies. I'm going to be doing some art. I'm going to be putting my feet in the earth. I'm going to be doing the things that I need to do so that I can stay equipped and together and ready to do the work. And this is what every single one of you is going to be needing to do between, now and forever, but especially over the next 10 months. We got to get on the other side of these midterms. And so you could expect fuckery and distraction. So can I give you guys a distraction? A real one. Them going into Philly and taking down a bunch of shit related to slavery, that's a fucking distraction. Y'all, it happened before they put up the damn monuments, and it didn't change it. And taking down a statue doesn't change history. That's a distraction to get you all wound up. Meanwhile, real shit is happening. Like this fake ass Board of Peace. Like, just so y'all understand, you have to know what is a real distraction and what has significant consequences. And you can tell because they pull the things, they do the things that they believe will make you turn your head, like changing the name on a naval ship or changing the name of a military base. That's distraction. If it is something that will actually impact you, that's not a distraction. If there are real consequences, that's not a distraction. That's real shit. Okay? I just need for people, I really would like for people to know the difference. Okay? So if we can get Raja to 5, then I'm good with changing him out. He knows I love him, and he also is down with helping everyone else. Alaikum salam, Wasef. So let me just tell y'all, folks, places where I would like to get today. I would like to get, I would like to do, Sammy. I would like to do, Sophia and Gaza. Those two I would like to do next. And then, I would also like to do, let me just do those two next. How about that? Let me try to. Raja, I love you. What's up? Voila. Walla, Raja. Love you. Voila. Okay. Not me trying to handle shit really quickly. He said,
Dani,
okay.
I don't know if you talked about this or if you heard about it, whatever. 2 days ago, 3 more journalists were unalived.
Girl, I just said them same words.
You did?
Yes.
Sorry. But it was a targeted attack. I don't know if you saw the images.
I did.
It was wild.
It was wild. And I literally just like 3 minutes ago, I just talked about it.
I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah. Salam, Sammy.
How are you?
Salam.
Alhamdulillah.
Happy birthday, Amoni.
Yeah, A-Money. She said happy birthday, A-Money.
Amoni and daughter نفس اليوم. Amoni 20 انت وبنتي راحت.
Oh, A-Money, I lost her somehow.
Love you, Amoni.
She said, I love you, A-Money. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Carla. Okay, so listen, I do not know if it is possible. However, if it is, I would love to see. She said she loves you, A Money. I don't know who. Oof, my fingers happening. Okay, so let me tell you where I'm at, folks. Jesus. Okay, so y'all know, I know. Listen, A Money, I said, I don't know who the fuck that is. Hold on, because I really need to give y'all, I really need to make this happen. So give me 1 second, y'all. Stop, Titan, my cat. And I got a little bit of a headache. Okay, so if we can do this, salam Amal. So listen, folks, if we can do this, I would love to, so one of two things. I would love to see Mohammed OS reach 5K. If it's not possible, that's cool. Then just do direct, right? Yeah, 3 days ago, Kat, 3 days ago, we lost 3 more Palestinian members of the press. Okay, A Money, I got you. And then, so what I would like to do is 5, 3, and 3. So the 2 boxes underneath, if we can do that, that'd be amazing. And then everywhere else. So Sammy, you reached 2K, so I'm going to switch you out. I know she's going to be like, damn, that was quick. Yeah, girl, but you got them coins quick. So I'm rotating out. Okay, so A Money, you do your announcement.
I'm unalived.
I'm just saying, listen, she hit them coins quick. So
now I just wanted, I don't know if you want me to make an announcement to the people in the chat.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So yeah, so the goal is going to be 2K each, unless I ask for something over that. And then when they reach 2K, I don't care if they have a timer or if they don't have a timer. Once they hit the 2K, we're gonna rotate out, because there's just too many of them that are in the request box. And I have a hard stop today at 2:05.
Okay. السلام عليكم يا أهل غزة.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام. لو سمحتوا إذا بطلوا مع الكلمات في الكومنتات يعني شوي وتحطوش نفس الكلمات ورا بعض. هي بتحاول تساعد كلكم وبتنزل وبترفع ورا بعض. شكرا. أنا يونسا شكرا.
شكرا. Girl, that was thank you.
Thank you.
I got it. Shukran. Thank you.
I knew when I said it that you was going to be like, shukran.
Shukran. All done. All right. So I got to rotate some folks out because there's a lot of folks that I need to try to kind of assist. So, hey, guys, I don't know what happened. I had Wadme. I selected her and it didn't put her up. And I don't know if anybody can grab her because she's not showing in my requests. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, hold on. Y'all about to hear me own my shit. Hold on. I got to fix it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Hold on, y'all. I got to take care of some shit. It's my fault. I did it. This absolutely, hold on. It's my bad. I did something. Hold on. Damn it. Hold on, y'all. I got to fix it.
Thank you for calling Cora, where we serve everyone. To better assist you, please select one of the following options. Para español, presione 3.
Hold on,
Press
y'all.
1 for new patient evaluation scheduling. Press 2 if you are an existing patient and want to reach the clinic.
Hold on, y'all. I got to fix it.
How can I help you?
Sierra, this is Dominic and Bella's grandmother. And I done fucked up and forgot we changed the time today. I know you laughing. I just looked and I was like, because the reminder just came through on text. And I was like, shit, they on a school bus. Ain't no way we're going to be there. So tell Adrian, I know y'all can hear me. Tell Adrian I will work with them today
And I will see you guys on Wednesday.
Okay.
Jesus. Tell her I'm sorry. It's all my fault, though.
I understand.
I need to not do new shit. But okay, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Okay, yeah, you be safe. Okay, bye. The kids, the grandbabies had physical therapy today. And watch Showing the Blood Wad Me because TikTok can get me. Yeah, thank you, sis. But yeah, they were supposed to have physical therapy and we changed the time. I don't ever do that time of day. And so of course, like what in the world?
How are you, Dani?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I see you have an injury.
Burned her hand. Yeah, she burned her hand, she said.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so if we are doing magic beans and we can I don't even know if Bilal and Allah Shak Shak can hit 3, then I can rotate them out. And then yeah, because I want to try to switch some folks out. Okay, so listen, I want to tell y'all this shit's important, y'all. Listen. I want for people to understand, if you don't know this, I want you to all understand that individuals that are pro-Israel, especially folks that are Christian Zionists in this country, are spending millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for our congressional elections. We had the race that was done to get Cori Bush out of office. AIPAC spent $19 million on that one congressional race. Let me say that to you again. To get Cori Bush out of office, AIPAC was willing to spend $19 million on her opponent. That should be a problem. Appreciate you, Sandy. That should be a problem for every single American. That should be an issue for you. Right? Our Congress, their responsibility should not be Israel. Like that's not what we're here for. It is not Israel first. And even if you are quote unquote Republican, right? Even if you are any of that, okay? You should not be okay with that type of foreign interference and influence in our elections. You follow me? That should not be the case. There's just too many people. Fuck my life. There's so many folks up in here.
She said, fuck my life.
I did. And I don't mean it because, like, I love my life. Right, Michelle Jackson.
If you want, what you can do is just start doing 1K so that way at least that's something. It's up to you, though.
Yeah. I don't even know if my finger accidentally did that one, A-Money. I don't even know that person's verified. Can somebody double check it for me? She's good. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy did it. Sandy did.
Thank you, Sister Dani, to give me this chance. Wallahi, I'm very happy.
She's from Wasim.
I'm meeting you in Wissam live.
Wasim, yes.
Wasim, yes.
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 Yep, I remember now.
I'm very happy to that.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Yep, as soon as I saw the picture for a minute, Cam, I was like, oh, I know her. So for those of you who do not know, the other day, here's what happened the other day. Amanda, you will laugh at me. The other day, I was working, right? And I was doing something and just scrolling at the time that I was researching something. And you know how you'll scroll and you're not paying attention as to what live TikTok put you in when you were scrolling? And I happened to look up and there was a request for me to join a panel. I was like, where the fuck am I? And I look up and it's Wasim's live. And it wasn't like I was going to be like, decline. No, right? So I jump on the panel. Ain't nobody, he said, I speak little English. I said, I speak, look, shway Arabic. shway Arabic.
Why is Dani starting to sound like my Arabic?
And so
I know it. Dani starting to speak like me.
Quickly through my life. Why?
Huh?
Yeah, no, I wasn't in it.
I literally,
Today.
yeah, because I wasn't in a live. I was preparing to go live. I was setting up my live and had turned on my app. So,
Okay.
yeah, so A-Money, so then all of a sudden I find myself on Wasim's panel, y'all. And
Today I saw you on my live.
yeah, I was on Wasim's panel. This happened the other night. And so,
Sister, do you know our language English is not يعني the best, but we يعني as for my example, I'm always improve my language to contact with you, to understand you, to listen to you, to you understand what you say in your lives. And it's very heavy not to be as the guest. I want to know what do you say to us and speak with you.
yes, alaikum salam. Yeah, so she was in Wasim's live, A-Money. What's up, Wasef? I said, what's up? Salam, Wasef.
I miss you so much, Sister Dani.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. So, A-Money, so here's the thing. We were in there, and this is where I met the one in the box below you. And if you could have just seen, he was like, oh my gosh, you're on my panel. This happened when I was in Moe's the other day. And so I dropped in the Discord and I just said, hey, I ended up on a panel when I didn't mean to end up on a panel, but if any of you guys can come and show some support, that would be amazing. And the level of gratitude was just crazy through the roof. It was very, I don't even know how to say it, but it was wild. And just the difference. It was very fun. It was incredible and it was amazing. It was. So, yeah. So let me tell you guys this. So yeah, when you say Michelle Jackson said that's crazy work because AIPAC was willing to spend $19 million. Now here's the thing. Kufi is called Christians United for Israel. Kufi, CUFI, Christians United for Israel. Okay. That organization is headed by John Hagee. Okay. And what they chose to do is they no longer operate in their official capacity as a PAC. Like the way that they are choosing to funnel their money is not through elections, because when you funnel the money through the elections, you can track it, right? You can track it, which they don't want to have happen because people can see the insane amount of money that is being spent by AIPAC. Now you see candidates saying, I don't take AIPAC money, right? So they want to get around that as best they can. So really quickly, let me recap what I have. The top 4 boxes are U.S. people. The bottom 4 boxes are people that live between the river and the sea. Okay. So you have Wadmi, and my friend that I met in Wasam's live, which have both hit 2K. So I'm about to rotate them out. The bottom box, the picture that you see, that is Wasef. He's also a paramedic. He's what we would call like a first responder in the United States. That's him carrying somebody who's injured, right? And he's got a newborn baby as well that's about 6 weeks old or so, something like that. The box beside Wasef, where
I am your hero, Dani.
You're my hero. He is a hero.
I am your hero.
He is a hero in Gaza. He is a hero in Gaza. So the box beside him, the gentleman that you see that has 500 coins right now. Yep, I got 20 minutes. Listen, that box, that gentleman was in a tent when their tent was hit with a drone strike. He suffered significant head injury. I do not want him to talk because it affects his voice and all the other things. And so when he comes up here, the magic beans help do medication and treatment and things like that he needs. As you all saw, Wadmi also suffered a burn. So, and shit, they just raised the prices. Y'all know how capitalism everywhere sucks. And when it's used at the expense of people. And if they can charge you an exorbitant amount of money for things that you need, they're going to do that. And so that's what you see taking place in other in places. So if y'all can help out there, that's amazing. But I want to tell you all something. So here's what happened in 2017. What's up, Chelsea? So in 2017, Jesus, in 1917, this document that I'm showing you, right? This document occurs, and it is where the British are saying, listen, we are okay with the Jewish Zionist aspiration because you guys want to create a national home for Jewish folks in Palestine. And we say, okay, you can do that. But listen to what it says. He says, we'll do our best to facilitate the achievement of that objective. However, he said, it's clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of the existing non-Jewish communities. So the Muslims and the Christians that existed in Palestine, which they still do, by the way, he is saying just because we are allowing the Jewish nation to go there and for you guys to have a national home there, you're not supposed to do anything to infringe upon those people, right? Which, in my opinion, they knew was bullshit to start with, right? And then he says, I would be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. If you all do not know that the Zionist Federation is something that exists, that is global in nature, it is a thing, okay? You just need to understand that. And that's how we got here. So what's crazy to me is what you now have is you have, because of World War I and what we have going on, you have these people saying, hey, listen, here's what we've decided. We're about to win this war. So the British, you can become the big brother to Palestine because we don't think that they are capable of governing themselves appropriately and running their country appropriately. So you be their big brother until they are able to govern themselves. That was what was supposed to happen. But here's what we know. What we know is that was the British mandate when they became kind of over Palestine at that point. They knew that the Jewish Zionists that they had allowed to establish a nation there, a home there, weren't going to leave peacefully. They were not interested in peace, not in 1948 and not today. How do we know that? Because there's literally a draft letter that was declassified in 2018 from the UN to the Secretary of State, it's Laskin Rusk here in the US. And he says, listen, this is all in my link tree, you guys. He says, listen, the Jewish just said last night, the Jewish agency said last night, they're not interested in a ceasefire. They're not interested in a peace agreement. They would rather continue to take the land by force. And when we pull out, when British troops pull out on May the 15th, we expect them to continue to attack Palestine. And here's what they're going to do. They're going to come crying. Now, here's what he said. He said, listen, this might be a problem for us. He said, there might be a problem for us because if the other Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, if the other Egypt, if the other Muslim countries around decide they want to come to the aid of Palestine, right? Then we might have a problem where we have to choose if this is going to be enough of a global issue that we're going to get involved. He said, now here's the problem. He said, when that happens, because it's reasonable that it might, if that happens, he said, Israel is going to come back to the UN and they're going to say they need the UN to defend them because they are being attacked by the other Arab countries, when in fact, it's going to be Israel that has taken the action first. It's going to be Israel that is the aggressor. How many of you all did or did not know that? If you're my regular people, you don't count. How many of you all did not know that's a thing? If you did not know that's a thing, please let me know. So I'm going to share this document. It's in my link tree and I'm sharing it. If you're watching on the other platforms, I'm showing it right now. I am reading from the Office of the Historian. Let me take this back because I really want you all to see this. This is important. Can my mods help me out? And anybody that's at 2K, can we switch them out? I would like to make sure that we get Abu Malik up, please. And I don't know who else is down there, but anybody that's at 2K, if we can switch them out. Flip camera. So do y'all see this document? This is from the history.state.gov. Alaikum salam, Malik. For those of you guys who are in the chat, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with Abu Malik, he is a father with several children. One of his children has significant malnutrition issues. He is 14 years old and weighs less than 40 pounds. He recently suffered several significant fractures. So if you have the ability to give magic beans to the box on the bottom that's Abu Malik, please do that. Okay? Salam Soha. All right. Alaikum salam. All right. So listen. So this is the document I'm referring to for those of you guys that can't see it. Draft memorandum by the director of the Office of United Nations Affairs to the Undersecretary of State Lovett. Future course of events in Palestine. This is May 4th, 1948. All right. So watch. Here's what it says. Military operations after May 15th will probably be undertaken by the Haganah. If you don't know who the Haganah is, and Ergen and Stern, those folks now make up the IDF. Now, I want you to see this. It says undertaken by the Haganah with the assistance of Jewish terrorist organizations, Ergen and Stern. So I want you to understand that the United Nations knew after the British pulled out in May 15th, it would be Israel's military, along with who they knew to be Jewish terrorist organizations, that would now begin to attack Palestine. This is a fact. This is not my opinion. This is literally a letter that was declassified in 2018. Now he says, listen, this is going to be, hold on, right here. If these predictions come true, we find ourselves in the UN confronted by a very anomalous situation. The Jews will be the actual aggressors against the Arabs. The way that I would say that to you is I would say to you, the state of Israel will be the aggressor against Palestine. And it says, however, Israel will claim they are merely defending the boundaries of the state which were traced and approved by the UN. He said the question which will confront the Security Council in 10 days' time will be whether the Israeli armed attack on Arab communities in Palestine is legitimate or whether it constitutes a threat to international peace and security. So basically, this is what they're telling you. Okay? Yeah, so just so that you understand, Nidlak, reading a historical document is not anti-Semitism. It's called facts. If you don't fucking like it, swipe and go out. Reading a historical document is not anti-Semitism. It's reading the historical document. If you don't like it, swipe out and go the fuck on. That's all you got to do. Free fingers. That's what you can do. And basically, this is what they said. It said, listen, is this going to disrupt international peace? If it does, we got a problem. That was the basis by which the Western world decided if it was okay to leave Palestine at the mercy of an army they equipped. You have to understand that, you all, that the state of Israel came to exist because of the Western world. They were equipped, funded, and armed by the West. And they still are today. It is why they have universal health care. It is why they have free education. And this document said, listen, the refusal of the Jewish agency to agree to our proposal for on-the-spot truce negotiations in Palestine clearly reveals the intention of the Jews to go steadily ahead with the Jewish separate state by force of arms. That's the very first sentence of this document. That is not my opinion. That is an actual historical document that you can find on the government website belonging to the United States of America. That is not anti-Semitism. That is just reading a fucking fact. If you don't like history, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't like people teaching accurate history, I don't know what to tell you about that shit either. But it is what it is. So let me just be clear, folks, when I say, what's up, Michigan Mountaineer? So I don't get to choose what happened in history. When I go to look at history, I don't want to just pick the shit that makes me feel comfortable. And I hope you don't want to do that either. One of the reasons I keep saying the state of Israel, even though it says Jewish agency, is because back then we lived in a time where they simply said Jewish and Arab. And I think that that's a gross misrepresentation. Because Judaism is a religion, right? They weren't talking about DNA. I want you all to understand that when they refer to the Jewish Zionists and the Jewish agency, they weren't talking about from a DNA perspective. They were talking about European Jews that were Zionists. Here's what we know to be fact. In the last 2.5 years, the state of Israel has, without discretion or discrimination, unalived Palestinians, regardless of whether they are Palestinian Jews, Palestinian Christians, or Palestinian Muslims. They do not care. What they care is if you are Palestinian. Okay? I'm going to continue to talk while I get my shoes on because I got 7 minutes. Okay? Now, I personally do not have a problem with anyone's religion. Whether you are Jewish, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Christian, whether you are agnostic, atheist, spiritual, like I don't care what your religion is. What I care is when you use that religion to cause harm to other people. When you weaponize that religion to cause harm, or if you try to put your religion into the laws that govern other people. That's when I have a problem. But the facts are, when you look at the historical timeline of the documents, okay, we knew what was going to happen to Palestine. We knew that before it happened. And we allowed it to happen. And we continue to allow it to happen. Just so you're clear. And this should concern you when you go to vote for people. So for those of you all on this side of the world, on this side of the apps where I'm live, I want to show you all something. Very quickly before I go. Girl, I know you're not asking me that while I'm live. Stacey D, I will text you in a minute. Ain't no way in hell. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh wait, I'm at the wrong website. Hold on. Okay. Y'all heard me read that message. Ding ding. I said, I know you're not about to ask me that. So really quickly, I know we have 4 boxes that are currently up. I'm leaving here in 4 or 5 minutes. If we can do 1.5K at a minimum, that would be amazing. But I want to give you all something really quickly. I want to show you all this. I need their report. I want the 2024 report. Here we go. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to drop it so you guys can see it too. I'm going to flip my thing around. Hold on, you guys. I want you all over here to see this. Okay. I'm going to replace screen sharing. I'm going here. I am on AIPAC's website. I'm on AIPAC's website. And I want you all to remember that AIPAC is just one of many. There's CUFI, there's NORPAC, there's J Street, but your Congress, make no mistake, is basically for fucking sale. We stand with those who stand with Israel. And there's Mike Johnson, Steve Scalise, Tom Emmer, Hakeem Jeffries, Catherine Clark, Pete Aguilar. Did you notice something? That's Republican and Democrats alike. Did you know that AIPAC, look at this, they endorsed the full House Democratic and Republican leadership, along with 87% of the veterans in Congress, 57% of the women in Congress, 61% of the Jews in Congress. Not all the Jews. Did you notice that? Not all the Jews. They don't support all of them in Congress, y'all. Only 61% of them. 79% of the freshman members of Congress, 56% of the Asian American and Pacific Islanders, 50% of the LGBTQ plus. This is the Democratic leadership. This is the Republican leadership. I want you to look at this. AIPAC raised more money for Congressional Black Caucus members than any other PAC. Same thing for the Hispanic Caucus. They put $53 million into our congressional elections. Why am I telling you this? Because you need to understand that this shit matters, and because this is your Congress. Every single member of your Congress that is walking around with a fucking button that says 51 states, one Israel, that's a problem. That's a problem. When Rafael Cruz sits his ass on Tucker Carlson and says, I became a United States senator to be the biggest pro-Israel senator, that's a problem because he needs to be the biggest pro his district. So it's just important, folks, that you all understand all of these things are connected in such a way, and they cross party lines. So there's two parts to this. One, it's saving the United States of America in some form or fashion, right? Which means we have to have a Democratic majority in Congress. And then, just finished it, Merlot. And then after that, it's about getting rid of every single one of these members of Congress that is cool with G-side. It's getting rid of every single one of these members of Congress that don't give a shit about other countries and the black and brown people that live in them. This is going to be a step-by-step process, and this is important for people to get on board with it. We're going to save ourselves so that we can then be about the business of saving other people too. That's the agenda. That's the movement. All right, guys, I have to get my babies. A-Money, will you tell Abu Malik, make sure he's with me tomorrow so that I can bring him up first? Girl, you might not even be listening now. She's just on the panel holding space. Listen, I got to go. Bella's going to get off the bus. I got to get my babies. Love y'all. Mean it. I will see you later. And I appreciate everything that you do. We got a lot of work to do, but we can do this work and we can be hugely impactful. You want to change the face of politics in this country? We do that by changing the people. And we change the people by having in-depth, difficult conversation that is fact-based, that is unapologetic, that is compassionate, that is authentic. That is how we do the work. And I'm willing to do that work with absolutely anybody. Now, if you come at me sideways, you might get twisted. I might straighten your ass back out. But it'll be all right. Yep, and Honey Buzz, we're going to talk about ending Citizens United, 100%. 100%. So I appreciate you all. Love you, mean it. Gotta go. I will see you all later, okay? Bye.